Indeed, sigh. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're all doing well. You're the first person to notice. I shaved off the mustache. It is indeed. I wanted to see how I looked without it and whether I preferred not to have it or not, because to be honest, I only grew it for like 3 weeks. It just grows much quicker than I thought it would, so I'll probably just grow it back at some point. But yeah, I decided to get rid of it. Did anyone see the copied and pasted statements? I mean, yeah, there are those kind of things. The non-proliferation shit, it's so over for them after this turn. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kept saying that I was like, yeah, Iran. I kept saying that America's going to attack Iran, but I thought I was going to get egg on my face, to be honest. But yeah. Sorry, I've just seen a funny post. Someone just posted, and Andreas Krieg just posted, nothing to see here, just another religious fundamentalist leader in the Middle East seeking divine blessing for more escalation. I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak Hebrew, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's fucking true, isn't it? Who are you? Where is Chris? I know, people are terrified now that I haven't got a moustache. It's like when you see when a baby sees its father after they've got rid of their moustache. It's kind of, yeah, it's tragic. I saw your TikTok without the moustache. I was hoping it was a past video. No. Hey, it's not the end of the world. Who cares, you know? I'll grow it back. People are much more upset than I thought they would be. Yeah, I just decided to shave it. Thought I wanted it. Buy a moustache. Indeed. Are you also live on TikTok? No, I'm banned from going live on TikTok, so I won't be live there for at least a week if I ever go live again. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. I was just hoping that there'd be more some people who were like, I'll debate you, but I never even tend to get them. I could message that guy who wanted to debate me about the genocide, but I don't know. He messaged me specifically. In fact, there you go. There you go. But yeah, thank you for shaving. No problem. Wait, what did you do? Why ban on TikTok? Because I got banned for saying that Israel was doing ethnic cleansing. Like, that's what I got banned for. It's pretty mad. Pretty interesting thing to get banned for, to be honest. Also, I'm starting to realise that maybe streaming why the shave. There's no real reason for the shave. I just decided that I wanted to shave my moustache. Banned for what? As I said, it was literally for saying for Israel to genocide. What the hell? I thought your girlfriend liked the moustache. What happened? She does like the moustache, but she also doesn't really care. Does this mean your current fan out now is doing moustaches? Well, maybe I'll grow it back. But it remains to be seen. Thank you for your kind message, Godspeedy. Banned for stating facts. Yeah, I mean, normally, so this is a new feature they've got on TikTok. I really wanted to see if I could show you it, because it shows you how ridiculous and why, like, I hate the platform. Because YouTube may cause you fucking problems, but so far it's not been like, hey, you did one minor thing and that means your account should be banned. I just want to see if I can find it. Maybe if I downloaded the app I could see it, but I don't think downloading it's gonna... I don't want to download it. But yeah, we move. Yeah, being based. Well, it started off with someone called me the result of inbreeding, and then I said inbreeding, and then I even resisted making a joke saying, like, I've been inbreeding with your mother, but, you know, which doesn't really make that much sense. But yeah, who knows? It seems less extreme restraint. What do you mean less restraint? Maybe try handlebars next. Maybe. Girlfriend is mourning the moustache. Indeed. Girlfriend is very upset. Awful stuff. Awful. Yeah. Hitler. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. Classic your mum joke. I love it. Laugh as a bass Chris. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just utterly ridiculous. It's also why when I used to stream, I used to be so reliant on basically going live on Twitch. I used to be reliant on going live on TikTok, getting up like a decent amount of followers, and then going, hey, I'm actually going to be live on TikTok now, on Twitch now. I mean, it's not such a big problem here because the stream's growing on here. It's always between like, now it's generally 500 to 400 is like a bad stream. 600 is like a standard stream. But I think maybe streaming on Saturday reduced the viewers yesterday, or maybe it was a lack of news. But even then, I don't know, because Saturday just seemed to be a slower day for everything. But yeah, Quis Kunswu Wive. Oh, Ghassan Kanafani Maxine. Yes, better comment, Jess. Thank you. I prefer that to someone commenting about Hitler. Like, I'm not trying to emulate Hitler with a moustache. Like, it's just not. It's not what I'm trying to do. Obviously. TikTok Lives requires the viewers need to have a TikTok. Sorry. Yeah, I do think it is. YouTube greater than Twitch. I mean, thus far as a platform, yeah. I could probably start going live on Twitch now, and I'm sure that at least a decent-ish amount of you would follow me. And I did find TikTok... I would say that Twitch's streaming interface I maybe found slightly better, I've got to be honest. Yeah, but TikTok's moderation used to be more broken. That's the thing. TikTok used to ban your videos more easily, or I used to have that problem, but now I don't really have that problem. However, yeah, it's just now, it's like they're just censored to hell. Poll for Mr. I'm actually curious. Yeah, we'll do a poll where everyone has to donate £100 to vote in it. So, yeah. No, I'll set up a poll. You can actually have a yes or no moustache poll. I cannot spell it correctly. I don't know if that's just because I was spelling it the English... thank you, Eliza. Have a nice day. Yes, no. I really want to see how this poll actually does. Yes. Well, there's already 20 votes. People are very excited. Only the land brands can vote. Wow, this is a neck-and-neck poll. Jokes on you, I'm paying 2 times just to vote for both. Yeah, it's like an actual election, you know, in most democracies. The more money you spend, the more likely it is. Down with the stash. Wow, Durr Ryder, very strong opinions. Oh my god, people are actually very pro no stash. Wow. Ooh. God, this is more exciting than America fucking striking. We should have done it with more people in, so we would have got a more fair account of what it is. This poll looks like the Brexit vote, Life of Massive. Yeah, it is fucking close. It is very close. The stash has a right to defend itself. I've never shaved off that much facial hair. I'll tell you what, I'd been waiting to do that. I have never ever been more excited to shave off facial hair. It was so interesting shaving it all off because it's such a strange feeling. Wow. Can't say no to the stash. This is a... Wow, it's summertime, so we're in twink mode. I would actually say that was a driving factor. Yesterday is the worst day I've experienced in terms of having a moustache. It just felt awful when I was out and about. It felt really irritated, and I think it's just because it was warm, basically. It was just hot, I think, was the issue. Yeah, so I think it's... Yeah, I'm sad in some ways to see it gone, but yeah. Sad in some ways, happy in others. But it is... Bring it back. Guys, let's slam that like button. Indeed. Smash that MF like button. Yesterday was horrific in the UK. Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty fucking horrific anytime it's hot in the UK because we just don't have much air conditioning. I'll pin the Discord after the poll is done. You look young. Lean into it while it lasts. Find the moustache makes you look like a child trying to sneak into an R-rated movie with one taped on. Thank you for that, Michael Clark. Interesting way of seeing my moustache or putting it. I feel I do look really young now. I'm just going to fiddle with the size of my picture. Maybe I'll put it up here today. Maybe you've earned that for a day. No, it's going to stay down here. Right. It's irritating as well because it's fairly new, so the edges are sharper on the follicles. I didn't know that, but yeah, 45% of the chat. It's 47% of the votes are... Wow, I've never seen it. It's pretty horrific anytime in the UK. Yeah. I mean, any time in the UK is a pretty miserable place. You're right about that much. Actually, I don't know. I do, to some extent, like it. But yeah, I do like the UK for some reasons, but there are many other reasons to just be like, this place is a bit shit and expensive for what it's worth, you know. I guess I'll just look at this. You do babyface Chris returns. I mean, yeah, looking at older videos where I have it. I live in Florida. We get 1 week a year that it's not hot. Yeah, and also I assume it's oppressive heat. Like, the heat is much more oppressive than what it is. But it did give you a cool 1920s Middle East explorer vibe. Yeah, I mean, 1920s Middle East explorers probably weren't up to very much good, so... maybe not the best vibe to give off, but at least it's interesting. Hi, Lemon. Oh, I'll also do... you know what? I won't mute my mic because all of you will start going, you're muted, Chris, you're muted. When really I know I'm muted because I intentionally did it. So let me just... Actually, I am definitely going to... No, actually, you know what? I'll do it in one take. You're about to witness how clever and strong I am. Hello everyone, I am currently live on YouTube, not Twitch as I said yesterday, and I am talking about America's assault on... yeah, I failed to do it in one take. That's how embarrassing I am. Hold on. Hi everyone, I'm currently live on YouTube and I'm going to be talking about the US's major escalation, its strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, covering that kind of news and stuff. So if you want to come say hi, link is here as always. Now I've just got to go and get the link. Yeah, I mean, I completely fucked that up, really, but, you know, we move indeed. There we go. Right, there we go. God, it is hot in the UK. I doubt it's even that hot where I am today. How hot does it say I am in the corner? Where are you posting that? I posted it on TikTok. Behind the scenes. We stand a 2 take Tony. Yeah, I needed it. To where do we move? What, in the from the UK? I wonder what he's saying. Too bad he's muted. Behave. I'm more shrill than that. We can... At least your hair is looking luscious today. Thank you. I haven't showered so far today, so I need to do that later. Look at our boy. Look at how they massacred our boy, making him do 2 takes on TikTok. Right. Actually, there is actually one TikTok. I haven't done this before. Well, I have done this before. I don't know what bullshit I'm saying there, but there was a good TikTok I saw earlier about some kind of stuff that is obviously just not my wheelhouse or area of expertise. This video has a ton of views. Her name is Emma Pike. It's from a few days ago. I think it's actually worth watching. I'll put my headset on because I'm not going to be able to remember it.
Disarmament, and these are some answers. So I work in nuclear disarmament, and these are some answers to a lot of questions that people have been asking me recently. Number 1, Iran does not have nuclear weapons. They suspended their nuclear weapons program way back in 2003, and they are part of this thing that you might be seeing everywhere called the NPT, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation.
This is also just like I cannot reiterate enough. I mentioned this in my video. The nuclear assessment by America, like a few months ago in March, was literally, they don't have them. They don't have nuclear weapons. It's not true. And then when Israel attacks and they need America to bomb the only place that Israeli weaponry just cannot reach, all of a sudden then they have to... all of a sudden then now they have nuclear weapons?
Proliferation Treaty. Basically, the treaty says no new countries can acquire nuclear weapons, and the 5 nuclear armed states that are part of that treaty, so that's US, UK, Russia, France, and China.
I was thinking when I watched this originally, I was like, wow, more countries actually have nuclear weapons than this, but of course those are just countries that store nuclear weapons, isn't it, for other countries?
Have to eventually get rid of their nuclear weapons now. None of them are complying with those treaty obligations, and under the
that's also such a funny part of it. It's like the UK actively, like anyone who says that we should disarm our nuclear or like remove our nuclear weapons, they just say they just say no, we can't do that, we should never do that, and we're part of a treaty where apparently that's what we're meant to do. But yeah,
treaty, all of these states can pursue like peaceful uses of the atom, I think they call it, which is basically nuclear energy. So there are 9 countries in the world that have nuclear weapons. Iran is not one of them. 5 of them are part of the NPT, 4 are not, and those are Israel, North Korea, India, and Pakistan. The IAEA, which you've probably also been seeing a lot in the news, is the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Oh, Israel having nukes, there are just points at which there are slips where, like, someone will just admit, yeah, we have nuclear weapons. Like, we have nuclear weapons, basically, you know.
Agency, and they are the worldwide organization that is basically in charge of monitoring and verifying that, like, nuclear use or nuclear energy use is quote unquote peaceful, and to, like, inhibit its use for military purposes. So the amount of the IAEA...
I still don't understand who's the one deciding. America. America is the one deciding. America and countries which already have nuclear weapons, except for India and Pakistan, really.
Is, like, resources and budget that goes into monitoring and verification of Iran's enrichment program is bigger, more than any other single state. In other words, they spend the most resources monitoring Iran, and based on that, we know that Iran is not developing nuclear weapons. There's no evidence to suggest that it is. This is something that is, of course, publicly acknowledged by the Trump administration, by the administration's own intelligence community. They have confirmed this to be true. Oh, and another thing, there's no such thing as a preemptive attack, a preemptive strike. It's just called illegally attacking unprovoked. It would be like if
This is a really, really good video. It's really interesting to hear this kind of stuff.
I went across the hall and, like, punched my neighbor and was like, yeah, I'm just preemptively punching him in case he does something. What? No, you're just attacking him. You can try and call it something different, but it's just an illegal act of aggression. By the way, I also want to remind people that Iran does have...
Yeah, there was a video that I tweeted about. I'll show you it after, of fucking Tom Tugendhat, some idiot from the UK in politics.
Have legally the right to defend itself. Now, that's not me making a judgment on whether or not this, like, current, literally ongoing situation is within that, if Iran is within its legal rights to self-defense or not, because I'm not in a position, I don't have the expertise to make that legal analysis. But I just want to remind everyone that legally, yeah, a country that is attacked does have the right to defend itself. In this case, Iran, in an immediate and proportionate way. So I work in nuclear...
Don't ever say this comment is nonsense. Ben Kanan has, I'm sure, some brilliant opinions. There is evidence. You need 4% enriched uranium for energy purposes. You need 90%... It's just like, this was recognised that they were not building weapons. It was 100% recognised that they were not building weapons. And hello everyone who has joined. Right. Let's pull up the video I was going to talk about. So this video is just insane. Listen to this.
The decision that the Americans took yesterday, the right one.
Yes.
Yes, violating international law is good. I like violating international law when someone we support does it.
Out the Fordo site is enormously important. This is a nuclear capability that is built specifically and totally for the murder of Jews in Israel. That is literally what it's designed to do. That's why it was placed under the IRGC and not under the civilian regime. It was entirely designed to create weapons. It was not designed for any civilian purpose at all. And actually, by destroying it, it's keeping the British people safer as well.
How is this keeping British people safer? Like, genuinely, how is continuing to support a state doing genocide, carrying out bombardments for it, a state that is clearly in violation of international law, how does that keep British people safe?
Because the missiles that the IRGC have been developing would reach as far as London and would threaten us as well.
And
I don't believe there's any actual proof of this. I think that this is literally just an Israeli talking
from
point.
your contacts in the region, do you think that Americans claim that they have destroyed that facility is true from what you know and what you can tell us?
So the initial reports that we're hearing are that that appears to be the case. Of course, you've got to wait until confirmation satellite passes.
There isn't actually confirmation of this. America said it, and one of their pieces of evidence was just open source int, just like a guy posting about it.
Evidence on the ground comes up, but at the moment, it appears that the Americans have struck all three targets extremely precisely and destroyed areas that were threatening the British people.
is the decision that...
Hold on, wait,
Site
where
is
was the...
enormously important. This is a nuclear capability that is built specifically and totally for the murder of Jews in Israel. That is literally what it's designed to do. That's why it was placed.
Just listen to
enormously
this. Sorry, I missed it. I don't know how I missed it. This is the part that I wanted to talk about.
important. This is a nuclear capability that is built specifically and totally for the murder of Jews in Israel. That is
Literally listen to the way that he frames it. It's for murdering Jews in Israel. Well, no, it would be about attacking the Israeli state, attacking Israeli people, not fucking Jewish people, because Israelis are a nation state, you know. Yes, they are Jewish, but they would be targeted on the basis of being Israelis rather than just as being Jewish. But of course, you need to frame it as the murder of Jewish people. However, what is very notable is what is Israel's nuclear arsenal for? What is Israel's massive military for? Well, it's for murdering Arabs in Palestine, it's for murdering Arabs in Lebanon, it's for murdering Arabs all over the Middle East, it's for murdering any ethnic group that dares to stand up against the state of Israel. So this is the whole point. It's like, hey, why would you never frame it that way? Why should Israel have a nuclear arsenal which it's going to use to murder Persians and also to murder fucking Arabs? Also, by the way, guys, I'm pretty pissed off at you all because there's a problem with the likes on the stream. I think it might be glitched. Like, there's only apparently 100. But yeah. This is just the insane thing. People went on and on.
A lot of...
He's a killer, though.
Sorry, here's Zay Squirrel posting some stuff.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers in America.
Well, take a look at what we've done, too. We've made a lot of mistakes. I've been against the war in Iraq from the beginning.
By the way, this also just apparently is not true.
Mistakes are different
We made
than...
a lot of mistakes, okay, but a lot of people were killed. So, a lot of killers around, believe me.
Let's talk about...
Yeah, it's very...
I mean, this is true that Trump is willing to say these kind of things. They also... Zay Squirrel has
But I'll
this.
tell you what, I'm only interested in Libya if we take the oil. If we don't take the oil, I have no interest in Libya.
So your Middle East policy is basically guided by our interest in oil.
My Middle East, which are I always heard that. I always heard that when we went into Iraq, we went in for the oil. I said, that sounds smart.
I can't believe what our country is doing. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of
Gaddafi.
people. Nobody knows how bad it is. And
Muammar Gaddafi.
we're sitting around, we have soldiers all over the Middle East, and we're not bringing them in to stop this horrible carnage. And that's what it is. It's a carnage. You talk about all of the things that have happened in history. This could be one of the worst. Now, we should go in, we should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. We could do it surgically, stop him from doing it, and save these lives. This is absolutely...
I love how, also, like, this is just the thing. They frame themselves. Someone posted this earlier today. They literally called themselves the pro-peace ticket. I remember talking to someone who I used to be really close friends with, and we were just talking about this, and he was like, if Kamala's elected, they'll go, like, America will 100% go to war. That's why I think Trump is, like, better. There'll be World War III if she's in power. I think the truth is both of them were driving towards this. I think that this is just... I think that this is the truth. I think that this is just the truth. They are always going to move towards this kind of stuff because Israel was going to attack and it was always going to be the case.
absolute nuts. We don't want to get involved, and you're going to end up with something like you've never seen before. Now, ultimately, the people will appreciate it. They're going to end up taking over the country eventually, but the people will appreciate it, and they should pay us back. But we have to go in to save these lives. These people are being slaughtered like animals. It's horrible what's going on. It has to be stopped. We're making decisions like trade embargoes. What does this have to do with the trade embargo? He's killing people with machine guns in the streets. We should do, on a humanitarian basis, immediately go into Libya, knock this guy out very quickly, very surgically, very effectively, and save the lives. After it's all done, we go to the protesters who end up running the country. They're going to like us a lot better than they will if we don't.
I love the way he just frames all of this. Oh, they're gonna like us so much. Yeah, historically. I mean, I saw a really interesting post from a friend who, as I said, was very anti-regime. But all they were saying is like, hey, you know, we know what happened in Afghanistan. You said this was about women's rights there. What did that end up being? Not about women's rights. It was literally about you going in. You had no problems with the Taliban. You were willing to have relationships with them. Look who ended up back in power, the Taliban. And who knows who'll end up in power in Afghanistan? What, the fucking Shah's son? Probably not. He's got no fucking legitimacy. People weren't happy under him. Like, it's just people who don't live there anymore.
Don't do it. More importantly, we're going to save lives. And we should then say, by the way, from all of your oil, well, we want reimbursement.
Let me ask you about Libya. You've been highly critical of Libya and Hillary Clinton. You were also for military action to oust Gaddafi and military action to take care of the humanitarian situation in Libya. You supported that.
When you say I supported Libya?
Yeah, you supported intervention in Libya.
I did. Where do you see that?
In a video blog from 2011, you said,
Now, we should go in, we should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. We could
I mean, it's all just lies, but are you really surprised?
do it surgically, stop him from doing it, and save these lives.
That's a big difference from what we're talking about.
But you were
big
for
difference.
intervention.
Don't forget, I'm the only one. I made a lot of money with Gaddafi. If you remember, he came to the...
But also, I increasingly think, I don't think it's like a really like an unbelievable thing to think, and I think that you can find this from people who do analysis. What these people really want is either dictators who rule over with an iron fist, don't allow any kind of protest, basically control their population, ensure strong relationships with the West and Israel, or they want people they want these states bisected into loads of different places, not bisected, but like fragmented into loads of different along ethnic lines, along like basically tribal lines. It's a classic colonial tactic, you know, empower tribal leaders basically. And like this is what they want. I don't think like what happens in Iraq is like some mistaken thing. Is Uniparty. The US Democrats literally said Trump is a pussy for not bombing Iran. Yeah, I mean I saw all of that, but the same is the same goes for the UK. The UK, there's no fucking difference. You get the Greens who are like probably, I haven't even seen the Green statements, but I can't see the Greens being like, hey, great idea bombing Iran, great idea, very cool.
Country, and he had to make a deal with me because he needed a place to stay, and he paid me a fortune, never got to stay there, and it became sort of a big joke. But the fact is that...
Balkanized, yeah, that's the way that people put it, yeah.
Libya was a disaster from the standpoint of the way it was handled. I mean,
you were for intervention. Just to clear that
I
up.
was for doing something, but I wasn't for what you have right now. And right now, ISIS has their oil, John. ISIS is selling. That's among the finest oil in the world. ISIS has taken over the Libyan oil. And we don't do blockades. We don't do anything. They're selling it. They're making a fortune with it. So we go out, we do Libya.
Right, the poll has been ended. So the preference is clear for the mustache, but that's an overwhelming victory. I guess all the no voters pressed it by mistake, I think.
We did it poorly as you can do it. You can't do worse. And then now, if you look at what's happened, I mean, the end result is ISIS is selling the oil, and it's a total mess.
This is one of the things that confuses some people about your positions, though. You said you weren't for intervention, but you were for intervention in Libya.
I didn't mind surgical, and I said surgical. You do a surgical shot, and you take them out. But I wasn't for what happened. Look at the way look at with Benghazi and with all of the problems that you've had. It was handled horribly. That's not the way it's
since then you
supposed
said
to
you were never for intervention.
I was never for a strong intervention. I could have seen surgical where you take out Gaddafi and his group.
God, I mean, yeah.
Building a nuclear weapon, would you take military action?
I've seen this clip as well. It's worth watching as well, because a lot of people will say, Trump has done this thing, Trump has done this. The truth is as someone literally just put it, it is Uniparty. This is all what it is, you know.
Policy. Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious...
It wasn't actually peer pressure. It was yesterday. I was getting so wound up with it. I was getting so wound up with the moustache that I was like, oh, I need to so I was like, yeah, I need to get rid of the moustache. Hold on. Sorry, I just had to do something. Whoa, big changes. But yeah, I just got rid of it. But yeah, sorry, I just had a text.
One in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay?
And also, as people kept mentioning yesterday, also the thing that people kept mentioning yesterday, that lethal military quote is, you know, is 100% true.
This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that
Hold on, sorry. I'm now just... Oh, goodness me, I've got something I need to do. I'll be 1 second. I'm just doing it right now. Sorry. This isn't really the best time. But yeah, just like in America, this is sort of very standard. This is what they do, you know? They, but yeah, this is just what they do. They're all the same. You get the same thing. You vote for them and you just get the same thing, whatever.
Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power. That is one of my highest priorities.
And so do you honestly think that she wouldn't have been willing to join the nuclear strikes? I do need a BRB screen. I need to set this kind of stuff up. I need to work out how to do the thing as well with the... like having the chat in this corner. Like I want to have it in the left-hand corner of my stream. No, I think it's all done. It's not that pressing business. It's just like a... Right, it's... I stand by that we would have eventually reached this stage. I think, well, Israel would have launched its strikes on Iran regardless. So it's kind of like, what do you expect, you know? What do you expect? It was always going to be this way. It was really always going to be this way. And also the fact that they trained for this strike before. Like, it was literally said that that they were training for this strike under the Biden administration. And no, I don't use Streamlabs. I currently use OBS to stream. Although it does tell me like stats at the end of the stream, like percentage of viewers and yeah, things like that. So yeah, that's the only thing that I see. Oh my goodness, there's some not very much. All I think is that this drives Iran to build a nuclear weapon, because what's the like what is the point of like not building a nuclear weapon when you do everything that they ask, when you go to the negotiating table, when you say, hey, we're not going to get rid of our entire program. Trump rips up a nuclear deal that was basically just gotten rid of by hawks who wanted a war with Iran, not something like yeah. I'm going to say something a bit different. This is Amit Segal, who's an Israeli journalist, so probably not the most trustworthy of things, but we'll see. I'm going to say something a bit different. What the source told the New York Times. He said Fordo was damaged severely, but wasn't destroyed. So I'll tell you what Israel's current assessment is. First off, Natanz was completely wiped out. For Fordo and Isfahan, we're waiting for more confirmations. Not because we think something didn't work, but because it naturally takes longer for those deep underground sites. The big question now is whether Iran's nuke program just went back a few years, or it's totally erased. This relates to where the enriched uranium is. That uranium enriched to 60% is now incredibly hard for Iran to boost to over 90% for a bomb. Israel thinks most, if not all, of the enriched uranium was at Natanz or Isfahan. It wasn't moved, so it was there during the attack. We're now waiting for the BDA. Fordo is the nuclear strike that that sucked. We're now waiting for the BDA of the enriched uranium. We're waiting on Mohammed Sinwar. I know he's under a tunnel and unreachable, but we'll likely know soon if he was also destroyed. This is huge news that could mean the official end of Iran's nuclear program. I mean, I don't think it does. There was a really good thread by someone, which I'm just gonna find. I have saved way too many things for the stream today.
Or with Iran.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna listen to JD Vance now. We're gonna hear from the crybaby mascara boy.
We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. And let me just say, Kristen, that we're incredibly grateful and proud of the American Air Force pilots who did an incredible job last night. The operation was really extraordinary. These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine, and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping, other than to briefly refuel. And of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation.
Is it really that incredible? Like, they're all saying, like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And it's like, you spend billions upon billions of dollars on this shit whilst your country rots, whilst people are suffering there. And, like, how many people's lives are just awful? Is it really that impressive when this is all you spend your money on, with so many, yeah.
Testament to the power of American military. And
when so many of your people are suffering.
I think what shows what can happen when you have that great American military in the hands of capable presidential leadership. What we did.
You kill and bomb and you kill and bomb. That's all you've ever done. You kill and bomb and kick the can down the road of people being allowed to have decent lives, of people being allowed to be free from the yoke of Western imperialism. It's really not some mad, amazing thing, you know.
Did is we destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. I think we set that program back substantially, and we did it without endangering the lives of the American pilots. That's an incredible thing, and I think we all should be proud. Whatever our politics, we should be proud of what these guys accomplished. A very, very high-impact mission under a lot of pressure.
Mr. Vice President, let's talk about what happens next. President Trump posted on social media, quote, any retaliation by Iran will be met with force greater than what was witnessed tonight.
I mean, it's also just like, I wonder, there's quite a big question about what Iran is actually going to do, you know. Will Iran will Iran do nothing? Will Iran close the Strait of Hormuz? They've said that they're going to do that. That's what they said. They're like, well, their parliament allegedly said that. Hormuz, sorry. The parliament said that they're allegedly willing to do that, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows whether they will? It might be nothing. It might just be moving towards a nuclear weapon. I've seen people saying, hey, like Trita Parsi, you're right saying that, yeah.
If Iran retaliates against the U.S., as it is threatening, what will the United States response be?
Well, Krista, that's ultimately going to be the president's decision. But what we've said to the Iranians is we do not want war with Iran. We actually want...
You have war with Iran. Your little proxy is fighting it for you. You tell, like Piers Morgan is like, the octopus of chaos. It's like, hey, what do you think America is? America is the one that actually has tentacles all over the Middle East, like huge amounts of bases, like far grander tentacles than anything Iran is capable of, but yeah.
Want peace. But we want peace in the context of them not having a nuclear weapons program, and that's exactly what the president accomplished last night. I really think there are two big questions for the Iranians here. Are they going to attack American troops, or are they going to continue with their nuclear weapons program? And if they leave American troops out of it and they decide to give up their nuclear weapons program once and for all, then I think the president has been very clear. We can have a good relationship with the Iranians. We can have a peaceful situation in that region of the world. We have to step back a little bit, Kristen, and remind ourselves that we negotiated aggressively with the Iranians to try to find a peaceful settlement to this conflict. It was only when the president decided that the Iranians were not...
Also, do you think there's hope for us, or should I try to accept death? I don't think you should just accept death. I don't think death is necessarily going to come. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's very difficult to talk to some, like, to give predictions about what's going to happen in the future, but, like... I hope that that's not the case. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me with America and Israel, but I don't think they'll kill everyone there. It's a far bigger country, and it is a risk, but I do think that they want to collapse the regime there.
Not negotiating in good faith, that he took this action. Yeah. He didn't take it lightly, but I actually think it provides an opportunity to reset this relationship, reset these negotiations, and get us in a place where Iran can decide not to be a threat to its neighbors.
We should bomb you into negotiations. Iran should not be a threat to its neighbors. What the fuck is Israel then?
Neighbors, not to be a threat to the United States. And if they're willing to do that, the United States is all ears.
It's just like, it's this kind of thing of just over and over again saying, oh, you know, sorry, I just have to answer a message again. It's kind of this thing of over and over again of hearing like, well, Iran can't do this thing. Iran is responsible for everything. It's just utterly ridiculous. You cannot start a revolution while wearing white gloves. I've never heard that saying. Who's that from? But I mean, just also look at the response from Europe. Jesus Christ. Iran's nuclear program is a grave threat to international security. Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, and the US has taken action to alleviate that threat. The situation in the Middle East remains volatile, and stability in the region is a priority. We call on Iran to return to the negotiating table and reach a diplomatic solution to end this crisis. Why can't you mention Israel? Why can't you mention Israel? Like, how dare you sit there and say, oh, you know, how dare you sit there and blame Iran for everything when you're unwilling to mention Israel or any of the countries that are like the UAE and the things they do. And also, wow, these are copy and pasted. Here's Carney, the Canadian. Iran's nuclear program is a grave threat to international security, and Canada has been consistently clear that Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. While US military action was taken last night, was designed to alleviate that threat, the situation in the Middle East remains highly volatile. My God, these are copy and paste. Oh, sorry. Right. But yeah, it's complete copy and paste apart from... the only bit that's differently worded is really down here. Iran must not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon as it would be a threat to international security. I urge all sides to step back, return to the negotiating table and prevent further escalation. EU foreign ministers will discuss the situation tomorrow. We have all been clear that Iran's... Oh my god, it is exactly the same. These are just statements. These are the same statements from different people. Like, this is the point that we're at. We live in a world where there's not only no opposition, all Western leaders in Europe just dance the fucking American tune. It's just utterly ridiculous. Here you go. So here's Martin Shaw, who's a scholar of genocide studies. The United Nations has a charter which forbids aggressive war. The US and Israel have just torn it up. Non-proliferation is supported by an international treaty. Israel has not signed it, and US nuclear rearmament breaches it. Completely Orwellian from this language, from this propagandist. I try not to be surprised by this guy, but this is different. The UN was created to maintain peace and prevent war. It should be the loudest voice against nuclear proliferation. Well, why do we all have nuclear weapons? Like, honestly, sitting there yesterday and people going, why should Iran have a nuke? Why shouldn't it? They launched an aggressive war when they didn't, when the America's own intelligence said otherwise, until they changed it, because it fit with what Israel was doing. Like, it's just like, what do you really say? Like, they can just manipulate and fiddle with this when it fits what Israel wants. So why are you telling me that I should just 100% believe it? Like, it's all so fucking ridiculous. Like, the point which we've reached, you know? With all of this shit. It's just ridiculous. And like, all of this stuff about how Iran should change, it's just bullshit, isn't it? Like, Iran should be more free and fair, but that's not what the West wants. The West wants, as I say, like a little dictatorship that's fucking loyal to it, that can still abuse its people, but yeah. Mobile better. App function that allows username to pop up. Such a poor stream platform. It could be so much better. I mean, it probably could. You're right about that. I'm literally hear them right now. I have IBS, but these days I literally can sit still. Oh, wait a minute. Today I feel that I'm going to black out. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I mean, it must be a horrifying experience, you know? Like a horrifying experience. Not know where it's going to be bombed next. And Israel over and over again just targets civilians, you know? Also, have any of you seen the fucking photos of Tel Aviv today? Unbelievable. Actually, I'll find the full AP report rather than just random Twitter account. Like, we have literally just... I made a TikTok about this, like, later. I made a TikTok about this just before I went live. We have literally stopped hearing about this. These are from Tel Aviv and Haifa. So this is Tel Aviv. Look at the level of destruction. We have literally stopped hearing about this completely. Have a good evening. Based. I do not condone... I mean, fuck Israel. Like, genuinely, this is what they've done to Gaza. And they've killed all of these people who do rescuing. They've destroyed everything. Like, it is so utterly ridiculous to sit there and make claims like this. Like, it is so ridiculous to sit there. Corbyn's statement was a statement, except in reality, as someone who remembers Iraq invasion, I'm having flashbacks. Thank you very much for your donation, It's Ogre. I haven't seen Corbyn's statement. Let's have a look at that. Thank you for reminding me. I'm sure it is, because Corbyn is a nice, decent guy. Like, Corbyn is a nice, decent guy who actually has some kind of politics. Here you go. Jeremy Corbyn. The illegal attacks on Iran by the US are reckless beyond belief and threaten the safety of humankind across the world. I mean, they do. Like, this whole idea that, you know, fucking... This whole idea that, like, this is bringing us towards peace. No, it's not. It's not bringing us towards, like, some better, more moral, any kind of, like, good and acceptable world. You know? It is just bringing us towards, It is just bringing us... hold on, I'm actually just gonna... It's just this whole idea that is complete and utter nonsense. But yeah, diplomacy was possible. Instead, a catastrophic war has been ignited by the aggression of two nuclear states, Israel and the US. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you think that a country that treats Palestinians as subhumans because they are not born the correct race, because they dared to inhabit their land and resist the indigenous people, resist the settlement of their project, the settlement of their land as the indigenous people. Like, shut up, you know. Like, shut up. All of these people who make other claims are just lying. They are lying. This is not for, like, the benefit of humanity or any of these things. It is so you can maintain a stupid status quo. Of course Corbyn is based. Corbyn is incredibly based. Meanwhile, the genocide in Gaza continues unabated with shameful military support of our own government. This is 100% true. This is 100% true. We are still supporting a genocide. So all of this stuff about Iran can't be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Okay, why are you supporting the people who are starving people? The last Labour government made the mistake of following the US into a devastating war. Human beings abroad paid the price, 100%. Also, I saw someone put it like this today. People are like, oh gosh, you know, the people are like, oh gosh, Palestinians are, people are like, oh gosh, Americans are going to pay a price. Will they, or will it just be Palestinians, you know, Palestinians and other people in the Middle East who continue to suffer? Oh, also, the New York Times has said that apparently, this is the New York Times assessment of what's happened. EGP, how much do you think Israel's increased restrictions on media reporting about Iranian sites have infected internal reporting? Oh, I'll talk about that right now. I'll just get back to it. I was just talking about a couple of things here. Thank you very much for your donation. I don't know how much you have donated there. That's an Egyptian currency, right? That's Egyptian, is it? I don't know. Is that Egyptian? Well, either way, thank you very much. Nola Magnolia, thank you very much. I will talk about that very shortly, but this is it. After overnight strikes on Iran, President Trump on Sunday declared the operation a success and said that Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities were completely and totally obliterated. But his early public pronouncements contrast with more cautious assessments by the US and Israeli militaries. The Israeli military, in an initial assessment, believes the heavily fortified nuclear site at Fordo has sustained serious damage from the American strike on Sunday, but has not been completely destroyed, according to two Israeli officials with knowledge of the... I don't mind. Don't worry at all, Nola. You donated. Any kind of donation is appreciated. I appreciate people who are supporting this financially and are helping to make all of this possible, you know. Thank you so much for any donation. But yeah, the officials also said it appeared Iran had removed equipment, including uranium, from the site. So this is from the New York Times. Matthew Petty is one of my favourite. I don't know if I should show everything he posts because he's private on Twitter intentionally. There was also apparently just a suicide attack against worshippers in Damascus. So that's awful. But I wonder what Trump will do. Like, what will be the next thing. But yeah, this Labour government needs to learn the lessons of the past. Otherwise, it will be remembered for the more dangerous world it has helped to create. It has 100% helped to create it. If aliens are real, this is embarrassing. Imagine coming across a new species and watching them fight non-stop. I mean, it's not even that we fight non-stop. It is literally that there are just some people, because historically their skin was whiter and they were in closer proximity to Europe, that they have a right to go and blow other people to pieces and decree them as savages on the basis of nonsense, you know? This is just the point we're at, and it is comical to look at in the sense of, like, we have not moved anywhere.
There are still voices in this administration.
Hold on, this is Massey, Thomas Massey.
What he promised us was we would put America first. And I think there are still voices in this administration. You've still got J.D. Vance. You've still got Tulsi Gabbard. You still, RFK Jr., you still got calmer heads that could prevail.
They were not persuasive in this case, clearly.
Well, somebody was persuasive. AIPAC is very persuasive. For instance, the Israeli lobby in Congress. If you look at my colleagues' feeds now, they all look the same. They're all tweeting the same message.
Also, it's just because they're scared to lift their head up and rear their head and do anything. Doing anything. Also, it's just someone else, Sean Patrick McCarthy tweeted this. He's 100%. Bombing a country doesn't mean you're at war with them. Is something even Orwell thought would be too over the top. I mean, he's correct, isn't he? Like, these people are claiming that they want peace with fucking, like, Iran. They don't want peace with Iran. What they want is to destroy it, to make people suffer, and to change the regime there. It's utterly ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous. Sorry, also, this is just another tweet that I just saw that I wanted to talk about. Look at this. Israeli soldiers took over my wife's parents' home in the northern West Bank. Thankfully, the house was empty. They left today, but not before ransacking the place and shitting on the floor. And stealing all the gold and cash in the house, as is their practice. Just despicable. Like, utterly despicable behaviour. I know that this is a detraction from the Iran stuff, but I think it's still worth mentioning. This is also, by the way, the kind of shit that Hila Klein was involved in the West Bank. And I need to repeat that. And it's not... I don't feel the need to talk about everything that they do, but also it is worth saying that this is what Israeli soldiers do. When they're like... When someone tells you who's like, I'm actually Israeli. What you have to understand is Actually, they don't talk like that. They're more like either... I'm from Britain, and I'm actually Israeli. I holiday in Tel Aviv. That's actually an American, but anyway, the same shit. I'm actually American, and I holiday in Tel Aviv, and what you don't understand is my family, my friends, all of these things, they're so scared. They're so scared. My brother is in the IOF, and they're, he does such beautiful things. What they're doing is just taking over people's houses and shitting on the floor. The Kleins love poop. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was actually Hila's family members shitting all over the floor on the direct orders of their master, Ethan Klein. Ethan was like, I'd like to see you shit on the Palestinians' floor because they're Hamas. Oh, wow. Someone's written an interesting thread here called Jared Suzuba. And they're talking, no politic here. Israel is good. Israel is good. No politic. By the way, guys, I've noticed a bit of a problem again with the stream. I think it may just be broken, but for some reason there's 245 likes, and you are lacking with I was about to say donations. Don't feel the obligation to donate, but the like is mandatory. You must like the fucking stream. You need to get on Bad Hasbara. I messaged Matt ages ago. He follows me on Twitter, but he didn't end up responding. I know he's a busy guy. I'd love to go on Bad Hasbara. I'd love to go on some things. The A Up Lovely thing may happen. IOF is for Israeli OnlyFans. And the Ethan commissioned a video of this. Maybe, you know. I mean, it's plausible. It's plausible. I haven't heard otherwise, is all I'll say. Iran greenlight shutting down a Strait of Hormuz. Sorry, I always say Hormuz, it's Hormuz. And they will have a monopoly over oil. Thanks, Trump. I mean, it's plausible, but who knows? I think it's more that you can just cause so many issues with, like, small things. Thank you so much, Zedcore Animation, for the donation. But yeah, I see the likes go up. If I get enough likes, I'll do a sue, like Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what my life has become. The Strait of Hormuz. But this is an interesting thread. But they were rehearsed militarily by both sides during the Biden administration. So apparently in Jan 2023, US B-52 bombers escorted by US and Israeli F-35s and F-15s, FA-18s, flew over across the Mediterranean Sea, simulating the distance between Israel and Iran. Fighters fanned out, attacked mock enemy aircraft and air defenses, paved the way for bombers to hit. The first Juniper Oak exercise wasn't just a warning to Iran about its accelerated enrichment. It was also a way for the Biden admin to keep Bibi close. The Israeli PM had been pushing US leaders to strike Iran for a decade. I also should probably make a TikTok about this because this is just, like, ridiculous. Like, the idea that Kamala, Biden, we're going to do anything different is, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I reckon the trade disruption would go much harder. Yeah, it would go much harder. And there's also things like threatening Dubai, threatening the Gulf states, and causing problems for all of these things, you know. Goal. What should I set the goal as? No, I shouldn't set it as regrow mustache. I have no example. Goal for the sake of God. No, I can't set a goal. I can't think of anything to set a goal for. Hormuz pronunciation. Hummus. Yeah, I'm joking. I live close to Iran. Interesting. What is Ahmed? Shash? I don't know what that says. I can't read it. The Straits of Sabra. Indeed, the Straits of Sabra. Hummus. Wait, you were telling me Biden also wanted to bomb Iran, just like he enjoyed bombing Syria, Lebanon. Exactly. And also, by the way, the US literally has a fucking interception squad set up in the state of Israel. Yeah, the shirtless stream dono goal. I don't think so. I think I'll probably get banned for that. Probably. I don't know. And plus I've got 2 tattoos on my chest that you've probably never seen, so. Oh, God. Let's just keep going through this. Juniper Oak War Games were held again in July 2023, but were not repeated as intended every 6 months due to the October 7th war. The conflict kept US and Israeli fighter squadrons busy. Israel used the war as an opportunity to show its capabilities to Tehran, in a signal to Tehran. But yeah, can you look at the clip from Piers Morgan and the one that anti-imperialist British guy? It's about how Iran is a hero to most of the world population right now in spite of the regime. Yeah, I mean, I can look about that, but I don't know what you're talking about. I guess I can see what Piers Morgan was saying. Yeah, you know what? Let's set up a new PC fund goal. I'll just put teal and higher. That's at least a justification. It's a reasonable-ish goal. There you go. Good idea. No, I don't think they've said that they will carry out an attack in Dubai, but there is like a plausibility of doing that kind of thing. Jim stream then. Yeah, Jim stream when, more like. What were we going to look at? Oh, I was looking at Piers Morgan. I was going to see if there's any videos of him.
Israel Herzog, if I can. This is the head of a state.
See if I can find anything. It's just one short video of Ash Sakar. Gym stream. I'm not sure you would enjoy a gym stream all that much. It would just be me working out.
You want to remember that if you look at what's happening in the conventional war,
oh my gosh,
Putin's going to win, despite the fact that we've now passed this large-scale arms pact.
This is ages ago. It's not new.
But what they've been doing in the last few months, the 3-month blockade, starving already impoverished, war-torn, innocent civilians in the main, women, children, and then as they queue up, desperate for the small amounts of food coming in, opening fire, and being so disingenuous about, well, there are question marks over all of these. Well, let me answer the question marks. Here's how we can do it. You said it about Iran earlier, but what about the fact that Israel continues to refuse to allow international journalists, including the BBC, into Gaza? There's only one reason they don't want journalists in Gaza. They don't want them to see what is actually...
No, he has not seen the light. He's alive after being bombed. They literally bombed his high-rise. I heard when it happened. They say he lost his legs, and he's such a terrifying man. Yeah, I mean, it's horrendous. Like, Israel is just carrying out heinous war crimes and gets away with it because that's what it does. But, like, this is just the kind of thing that they're allowed to do it. They're allowed to do it. Like, they're allowed to just do these kind of things because it's Israel. It's the episode of him and Galloway I was talking about. When's the episode of him and Galloway
actually going on?
I don't love George Galloway, by the way.
There's nothing to hide. Let the journalists in.
And as we said to the ambassador, to the Israeli president, there are more than 10 occasions where there has been shootings around those food queues, which I think the vast majority of people looking at would think that's an incredibly shocking situation.
But what they've been doing in the last few months, the 3-month blockade, starving already...
Yeah, it's just like, if you feel this way, why did you spend your time mocking Greta Thunberg the other day? Like, why was that a normal thing to do?
Vast majority of people in the world.
Oh, rubbish.
And
Wait, how does it go?
Iran is
presently the hero of the vast majority of people in the world.
presently the hero of the vast majority of people in the world.
I'd say it's actually certainly a hero to more people than the state of Israel definitely is.
And it's the fact that you can't see
What a load of absolute...
What a load of absolute rubbish! Here's Piers Morgan, the crybaby. Soy Piers Morgan versus Chad George Galloway.
Nonsense.
Iran.
Take your eyes off the posterior of the tiny part of the world, which is the Western world.
You think that
Africa
currently
is with
most
Iran.
Africa is with Iran. Tattoo tour. Also, my cousin owns a shop around Montrose if you need more, lol. Where's Montrose? I've never heard of Montrose. Oh, is it in Quebec? Oh, mad. I will get some more. I'm going to get a Palestine-related tattoo soon. Here are the ones I can show. I can't show you the ones on my leg. So I've had this one since I was 18, maybe 20. This one I got last year after October the 7th. I remember getting it. And I didn't get it for any relation to October the 7th. It's actually related to an Iranian poem I always liked, which is... Montrose is in Scotland. Mad. I'm quite far from Scotland, but this is In Paradise I Flew, This Body Kept Me Caged for a Day or Two. It was an Iranian poem I always liked.
You think the rest of the world is...
Yeah, I got the Israeli... Me and Hila Klein got the Star of David tattooed together, and then I got a photo of Ethan, and yeah... mine's bigger than yours comparisons then. I don't know what that was in relation to, but yeah, thank you so much, Sophie, for your incredibly kind support.
China is with Iran.
You think the rest of the world
China is with
Iran. One of his best quotes, which was pretty insane from George Galloway, is the shakshuka one. They have never tasted shakshuka. They are Chinamen who have never tasted... Oh, God, I got the hiccups.
Iran.
Yeah.
Russia is with Iran.
Russia,
All
China.
the Arabs are with Iran.
Russia, China,
Take
any
your
other...
nose out of the...
North Korea?
Of the tiny number of people that you think are the world. They're not the world. The world is...
Nola, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the memberships. Thank you so much for everything.
8 billion people.
Right.
You're speaking for the little clique that...
Oh! How have I got the hiccups? Hold on. I've got hiccups. Hold on. It's from trying to say shakshuka in his accent, but whilst as I say, I'm not the world's biggest George Galloway fan. George Galloway is correct here. I would say the vast majority of people are big fans of what he is, of like Iran, of rejecting the state of Israel and its oppression. I think that there is an increasingly small amount, and Israel is an increasingly isolated entity without a large backing. Because who wants to support Israel? It is not some like normal, awesome state. You know, like, Israel has brought chaos and it has brought misery along with America, and America has done this all over the world.
Leads a tiny fraction of fewer than 1 billion of the people of the world.
So just to be clear,
cannot see beyond the end of your nose.
As I suggested, then you want to put up as a defence for Iran that they're supported by China, Russia. Did you mention North Korea?
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but are they the kind of people in terms of their own?
You don't want those. You don't want the Asians with you. You want the good peoples of Europe to be with you, not the darned Asians. Shut up, Piers.
Regimes that we should be taking as good supporters.
Who are the good supporters of fucking Israel and America, like dictatorial regimes in the Middle East? Okay, moron.
Of these benevolent people
You're
in
living
Tehran.
under Keir Starmer's regime, for
You're living under Keir Starmer's regime, for God's sake!
God's sake. You're gonna blame the British?
Why did they just... Who made this? Thank you so much, Prevender. I mean, China is not obviously like the greatest place in the world. I don't really think anywhere is the greatest place in the world, nor is it perfect, but like, I just don't think people like this should be fucking talking. We live in an increasingly dictatorial state where we hear about, like, China suppresses protests. What has the UK done to Palestine protests? You're only allowed to protest in a tiny bit. You're only allowed to protest in certain areas. Utterly ridiculous, isn't it all?
For Keir Starmer, the French are living under little Macron.
The French are living under little Macron.
When did you get the right to decide that 7/8 of the world's population cannot be considered valid because you, Piers Morgan, don't like their regimes?
Yeah, like, because you, Piers Morgan, do not like their regimes.
You did know is that Israel has scores, if not hundreds.
I actually want to watch more of this, because the way... I love the quote where he's like, all of the perfumes of Arabia.
You did know is that Israel has scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons. And you did not mention it. Why is Israel allowed illegally to hold scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons in defiance of the law, uninspected by any agency in Dimona? And reports today from Dimona are that they are currently modernizing their nuclear fleet. Don't you think that would have put in a better perspective this issue of nuclear weapons? The reason I know you know it is because the brave Jewish whistleblower Mordechai Vanunu, who blew the whistle on Israel's...
I can't turn up the video sound, so I guess I'll just...
nuclear weapon.
I'll finish it. I'm sorry, it's at full.
Came first to the Daily Mirror and was betrayed by your enemy and mine, Robert Maxwell, to the Mossad, and then spent 22 years in prison in solitary confinement, and turned up in the courtroom with his jaws wired together like Hannibal Lecter, so he couldn't tell the courtroom what he'd told the Daily Mirror. Finally, the story appeared in Andrew Neil.
Mordechai Vanunu, who he's talking about, he's an Israeli whistleblower.
Sunday Times.
He blew on the fact that Israel had nuclear weapons years ago now, 1980s, I think. He's a nuclear technician. This is the guy. Vanunu spent 18 years, including more than 11 in solitary confinement, though no such restriction is mentioned in Israel's penal code, nor imposed by his verdict. Released from prison in 2004, he was further subjected to a broad array of restrictions on his speech and his movement, and arrested several times for violations of his parole. Yeah, he basically just blew the whistle on Israel having nuclear weapons. And of course that's not allowed, but Israel's a democracy, don't worry.
But only after...
I mean, yes, George Galloway. Did you know that George Galloway is also the progenitor of the quote? There are weeks where there are decades where nothing happens, and weeks where decades happen. He's actually the one who created that quote, not Lenin, as people say. I told my friend that, because George Galloway said some pretty problematic things about Kurds, and this bit is fucking hilarious.
Such Takfiri Islamist fanaticism can never liberate the Arabs, has no wish to liberate the Arabs, doesn't even see itself as Arab. There were only 25,000 fighters in Golani's army, and 5,000 of those were Chinamen.
And 5,000 of those are Chinamen!
Chinamen! Uyghurs! Who don't even...
Here you go. This is the origin of the quote. The Guardian newspaper of London printed an opinion piece by Member of Parliament George Galloway, who attributed the expression under analysis to Lenin. Yeah, like apparently this is where claiming it. Loads of people have said this. It's a very interesting. What did he say about Kurds? I couldn't pull it all up. Oh, sorry, I know what he did. He supported Saddam Hussein. Like, look. No, he's not talking about Kurds here, but he supported Saddam Hussein. This is at the fall of the Assad regime.
Speak Arabic. Don't even know who the Arab music stars whose albums they're burning right now don't even know who they are. Never tasted Syrian hummus.
Never tasted Syrian hummus.
Or shakshuka.
Or shakshuka.
Don't care for it.
I forgot how fucking funny this is. This is honestly hilarious. He honestly just sits there and goes, they don't know how lovely they are. He sounds so sad.
For it. They eat rice for their breakfast.
Hold on.
Or shakshuka. Don't care for it.
Don't care for it.
They eat rice for their breakfast.
They eat rice for their breakfast. You see.
5,000 out of 25,000 are Chinamen.
5,000 are Chinamen! So he's not actually talking about Kurds here. The Kurds, he was just like an ardent supporter of Saddam Hussein. And look, the fall of Iraq is wrong. The way it was done, the people interested in doing this shit, not good. It is an example of why US should not be allowed to do regime change, why the stuff that they are saying is acceptable, and all of these things. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, but still at the same time, it's just, oh God, you know.
Because.
And I think I had a bit too, my glasses were a bit too rose tinted with Golani, but yeah. Also, thank you so much, Charlie Kelly. I love your work in It's Always Sunny. Brilliant, you can donate. And also, well done on learning to read and write. I heard that you couldn't do that previously. I really like funny accents. I like his. I like George Galloway a lot. I think George Galloway is very funny. But I wouldn't say that he's like, sometimes he's going to be right about stuff, but I wouldn't say that he's like a great guy to be listening to and getting everything you hear from. Yeah. Also, do you want to hear something fucking, Listen to this. As I said, we are LBC haters here. Nomenclature. Chinamen who do not, they don't care for it. They eat rice for breakfast.
This action was legal under international law.
Well, as the British Armed Forces were not in.
So this is who is this? This is too many fucking idiots in the UK. So this is this is a minister talking about the attacks.
Believe that this action was legal under international law.
Well, as the British Armed Forces were not involved in this action, that would be what we would be determining.
But you'll have a view about whether it's legal.
I couldn't give you a view on that without having access to the kind of information the United States would have, nor can I give you a legal opinion from the British government on the US action this morning.
Does the British government think it was legal for the US to drop bombs on Iran? Surely that is quite a basic question and should actually be a central part.
Galloway used to be a British Member of Parliament. I don't think he is currently, is he? I don't think he is. Yeah, he's a former Member of Parliament, but he's no longer. Yeah, he just makes content on the internet.
Of whether or not you think this is a good idea. Surely you can't support something if you're not confident it's legal.
I cannot give you a legal.
It's so funny. You know these strikes are illegal, like 100%. You know that these strikes are illegal, but you know you'll sit there and you will go on and on about how, oh, we don't know what's happening here. We don't know what's happening here, whether these strikes, they're legal or not. It's bollocks, isn't it?
I'll give you a legal opinion on the activity in the United States this morning, nor would I do so if I'd been given confidential information that I couldn't share with the public from the Attorney General.
You don't know whether something is legal, as serious as this, whether it's legal, but you are nonetheless willing to profess that you support it.
I'm telling you, I do not want to see the Iranian regime possess a nuclear weapon because...
I can tell you don't want to see the Iranians possessing a nuclear weapon.
So the destabilization Iran is involved in.
So when we lecture other countries for behaving illegally under international law, what is the moral authority that we have to do so when we're not even sure what the United States has done this morning is legal?
Oh, because what I'm telling you, Lewis, is coming on the programme this morning, I've been here since about 7 a.m. at the television studios. I would not have with me access to the kind of information necessary to make that determination. And you know that, and you know I'm not going to speculate.
He's actually from the northeast, I think.
On that, so you can ask, but you know I'm not going to give you an answer because I don't have the information to do so.
I love how this is like, he just can't tell you whether it's like legal or not. Like, he can't tell you whether it's legal or not. It's just utterly ridiculous. It's just utterly ridiculous. He knows it's illegal.
We're exhausted.
God, JD Vance is saying more fucking dog shit.
Empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern.
I think it is Jonathan Reynolds. That's his name. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just... he's the Secretary of State for Business and Trade. That's it. Yeah. Jonathan Reynolds. Thank you.
But the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have a president who actually knows how to accomplish America's...
Back then we had dumb presidents, and now we got clever presidents. Your TikTok personality and your YouTube stream personalities are very far apart. It's because on a TikTok video you have to be serious and you're making shorter videos. Yeah, I think that the viewers just dropped yesterday because it's a Saturday and people are doing shit on Saturdays. Because I don't think like this is more exciting of a title or anything. Like I'm pulling people in with that. In fact, didn't I? And in some other days there's been lower than this. Yeah.
National security objectives. So this is not going to...
We had dumb presidents. No, all presidents are stupid. All presidents are fucking stupid.
Be some long drawn out thing. We've got in, we've done the job of setting their nuclear program back. We're going to now work to permanently dismantle that nuclear program over the coming years, and that is what the president has set out to do. Simple principle. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. That has animated American policy over the past 130 days. It's going to continue to be a driving force of our policy in the Middle East for the next 3.5 years. I certainly...
God, it's so funny, you know, you have all of these right-wingers who are just like, yeah, Trump's not gonna do war. Trump's not gonna do war. Trump is the peace president. Trump actually makes peace. And it's just like, realistically, it was all about feelings. Everyone knew Trump was hawkish. You just want to believe that Trump is, like, gonna make peace because that's what you fucking fancy. I'll talk about this more in a second because I actually promised I would. But I just want to watch this because this sounds fucking insane as a video.
I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Cash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it.
God, what is this guy even fucking whining about? He's on Fox and Friends. So fucking odd.
He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night.
This is also fucking bollocks. I reckon so many of the people in the highest positions literally just do no work. I think it's people below them who do all the work.
You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You straightened out the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
I love how that's it. You straightened out the FBI. Sorry, you straightened it out, and you moved buildings. Well done, bro, on moving buildings. You have done so much. Right, this is just a quick topic of conversation that I wanted to go back to. The destruction in Tel Aviv is pretty fucking mad. Like, look at these. Can you believe that we've kind of just sort of stopped hearing about this a lot? I just want to see if I can pull up the video of it, because I know AP had a video.
The mamad was shaking like a leaf, and I thought that's the end of the world. But touch wood that we were there.
I'm sure that she's not a great person, but I do like her little bird.
Otherwise, I can imagine like the cage.
It ain't much, but it's moving buildings.
It happened to me.
I think it is a suburb of Tel Aviv, but this is still Tel Aviv. That's the one I'm looking for. Here you go. Look at that! Like, how is this not being reported on as much? I know you have things from, how is this just not being seen as, like, more important to be like talking about. And also, by the way, it's definitely been suppressed on social media, because the reaction to this was just like, yay, Tel Aviv is getting blown up. Because as I said, no, people aren't sympathetic. And I mentioned this yesterday. Israel uses its military censor to prevent publication of certain information around this. Like, people, they don't want information to be published, because there were literally videos of like interceptors in Israel being, there were videos of interceptors in like the main, like in just key busy parts of Tel Aviv, you know? It might well be a residential build. It might well be a residential building, but one has to wonder what was actually the target. Yeah, because Israel couldn't shape a narrative of like, we're all so victims, we're all like these major victims, when the reality is, hey, like, you know, you have done this, your pretense for doing this is actually arguably weaker than a lot of these things, you know, like your claim is basically, well, we have a right to, you know, carry out huge destruction because of military infrastructure, which they never proved. But the only thing preventing actual military infrastructure from being shown is that, like, you know, is Israel's military censor. They are the ones preventing us from seeing it. US presidents are allowed and have a duty to respond to imminent threats, but that term is used incredibly loosely, and look where we are now. Definitely, Andrew Carroll, like 100%, like these are such loose threats. Like, how is this an imminent threat? How is Iran an imminent threat? The imminent threat is the state of fucking Israel. The imminent threat is Israel. Israel is doing genocide. Israel is provoking country after country, attacking them, and it will go, well, there's Hezbollah in them. Why is there Hezbollah in them? Stop settling other people's land. But it does seem like the interceptors are failing, that Israel's claims of complete air superiority are not necessarily congruent with what's actually happening, you know? Yes, 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 yes. Where are the fucking likes on the stream? Nearly 700 people in here. Yeah, and like, can you imagine if Iran was like flying planes over Tel Aviv, and when they saw people like taking up the rubble, they blew them to pieces? Because that's what fucking Israel does. Really appreciate your work. Kate the Great, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the support, and thank you all the people who've donated. It's incredibly appreciated. Thank you for funding my new supercomputer, as I've said, which I will use to send malicious information to the Israeli government. Should we watch a bit of Hegseth? Don't mind a bro if he watches a bit of Hegseth. I was just seeing if there's any more photos and videos. But yeah, I think Iran are going to just move towards building a nuclear weapon, like, I'm going to be honest. Nee, I see your message. I hope that you're okay. I hope that you're safe. I hope that, you know, and I hope that something is done to stop with Israel and Israel and America on their campaign.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
The DUI in chief. I mean, you know what? Like, I was thinking a while ago about making a video about like how an alcoholic, fucking racist, just piece of shit who cannot, you know, and like people suffer with alcoholism, but this guy is like just a piece of shit, you know. I have no sympathy for this guy. Love your streams a little towards the new. Thank you, Yorkshire Sam. Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, I will get one. I will fucking buy the new PC. I will buy the new PC and get a better streaming setup. Some good news. Miss Rachel won Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Award. Did she? When did she win that?
Last night on
And thank you, Tara Trove, as always. I will get a new PC. I'll probably talk to Tara Trove about actually how to fucking do a decent one.
President Trump's orders.
Indeed, Dono Train. I mean, yeah, he has a kafir tattoo. This is just not like, you know, oh, sorry, but what I was saying is like, hey, there's a drunk maniac and a sex offender in charge of the US. Is it not like a good example? America remains a state that is undeniably institutionally discriminates against women, along with the vast majority of Western states, if not all. It remains a state that is systemically racist and murders people all around the world. It's not really that surprising that it's ruled by alcoholics and unstable morons.
U.S. Central Command conducted a precision strike in the middle of the night against 3 nuclear facilities in Iran: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan, in order to destroy...
Yo, we just broke 700 viewers.
...or severely degrade Iran's nuclear program. And as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs will demonstrate...
You have to say, this is probably one of the bravest showings in human history. One of the bravest showings in human history. Pete Hegseth managed to get up for an 8 a.m. press conference. That means he had to get up at, like, latest 7:30 maybe. And he was probably boozing hard last night.
It was.
Thank you for the donation. Eyes mouth emoji, but not 700 likes. Yeah, where are all the likes?
An incredible and overwhelming success. The order we received from our commander-in-chief was focused, it was powerful, and it was clear. We devastated the Iranian nuclear program. But it's worth noting the operation did not target Iranian troops or the Iranian people. For the entirety of his time in office, President Trump has consistently stated for over 10 years that Iran must not get a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength,
I'd classify it as an imminent threat, an oncoming missile, but then again, I'm not a US president. Come on, let's get that 10 out of 10. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that donation. Yeah, I will sort out the new PC. You all have been so kind, and you're helping me, like, I don't know, progress this stuff. But indeed, Dono Train. Shout out everyone.
Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
But have they been obliterated? Like, have they actually been fully obliterated?
President Trump has stated the United States does not seek war, but let me be clear.
But also, again, how can you fucking say that you don't seek war? Like, how can you honestly say that you don't seek war? You carried out a major act of war. You carried out a major act of war, of bombing a country.
Clear. We will act swiftly and decisively when our people, our part...
Iran is told, you have to de-escalate, you have to do all of these things, and it's just utterly ridiculous.
...or our interests are threatened. Iran should listen to the...
This guy plays Candy Crush all day whilst drinking vodka until Stephen Miller gives him instructions. I don't think it is just fucking Candy Crush. Bro's also playing Plants vs. Zombies to practice military strategy.
...the United States and know that he means it.
No, he had to get up early, so he can't be that drunk. You know, he can't be that drunk.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz.
I love the way he says it. Fordow, Natanz.
And Esfahan.
Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise.
What would you call the American military then? Or actually, you know, not just the American military, the Israeli military, all of these things. Horribly destructive enterprises.
Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity.
Nuclear enrichment for capacity.
And a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
JD Vance, like, looking at them behind, these two are just staring dead-eyed. I mean, Rubio looks even more dead-eyed. This guy just looks... Hegseth looks strange. JD Vance looking at him is really sinister and weird.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace.
Also, what makes Iran the bully, really? I would say that you're more the bully. You blew to pieces, you know, Iraq, so many other places, but yeah.
If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu.
Bibi Netanyahu
worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the
There you go. It's about Israel. It's not about anything else.
Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight and all of the United States military.
Did any of you see, so loads of people were posting about this, how like there was like some reports that were like, oh my god, they were like, Pete Hegseth was like, I want to shout out those boys who flew that plane, and like some other people who were like, oh, shout out the guys who did that, and someone was like, actually one crew member was a woman, please don't be sexist. It's like the Gila Klein thing the other day where she's like, Iranian women are having agency to do bombings. That's not how Gila talks at all, but you know, she's kind of strange, so I don't really care. Charlie Kirk, also, by the way, Charlie Kirk was posting some weird stuff, and also his account is being boosted 100%. 4 million views on a TikTok with 300,000 views. This is being boosted. Categorically, it's being boosted.
Breaking news, everybody. President Trump has authorized.
Breaking news, everybody. President Trump has authorized. He's so weird.
An airstrike, U.S. airstrike on Fordo.
This is one of the weirdest videos I've ever seen. I don't know if any of you saw this earlier, or if any of you have seen this. Does he always do this? I wish I lived in the universe where Trump is a sassy drag queen. I mean, I do too. I think it would be a lot better than this. Thank you so much for the donation. Sorry, I'm just looking for something. Right, well, where are we?
In Iran. Iran gave President Trump no option. He has been very clear, come to the table, solve this diplomatically, and they refused. President Donald Trump has announced that a perfect military operation has been executed on Fordo and the nuclear sites. And Iran, they invited it themselves. He wants this to be a one-and-done strike, not a long war, not a land...
You started... Well, I mean, actually, you know what? I don't think this should be framed as starting a war. I'm going to be honest. I think they started the war by having a relationship with Israel, but...
...of, you know, sand and, as he calls it, a land of sand and death. He doesn't want any of that. He wants a quick strike, one and done. We have to trust President Trump here, and he has done what other presidents have refused to do to prevent Iran from...
What other presidents have refused to do. This is very zesty. This is dangerously zesty.
...from getting a nuclear weapon. We must trust President Trump in these circumstances and in a scenario, and it is breaking news. The United States has a...
Really zesty posting from this guy. Yet another...
Okay, everybody, breaking news. Iran has responded so far.
Breaking news, Iran has responded. And also notice how he's only doing this at the start.
...with ballistic missile attacks on Israel.
Yeah, I'm surprised it isn't getting me banned for it.
We have learned that the U.S. bombed 3 sites.
Alright, I gotta go back to work. Thank you for being here. I mean, it remains to be seen. Unfortunately, I am going to Ireland tomorrow, so I won't be able to go live again, but I'll be back on Friday, next Friday, so, bit annoying.
It's nuclear sites in Iran, whether or not it will be permanent damage, we will see.
We will see.
This is an ever-developing situation in the Middle East. There are over 40,000 U.S. troops within ballistic missile range of Iran if they so choose to respond. And that is definitely something that could escalate this very quickly. Also, be on your guard here in America.
Also, be on your guard here, guys. I'm on Grindr. Come say hi. I'm on Grindr. I don't know. This is just a video I felt very strongly about earlier. I felt very, very strongly about this when I was watching it. Yeah. How many sheep does Kirk herd? A good AstroTurf job. Why did you say sheep? Right, let's close let's get some shit closed, because we have way too many tabs open. Right, what was I looking for? Here's some video to go back to the destruction in Israel. I want to see this. I want to see what this person says.
In the apartment over the other side, the apartment itself is ruined totally. We went up because I have dogs and I want to take the dogs, and the apartment was ruined totally. But we are okay, you know, and we are strong. I'm a little bit scared, a little bit confused, but I will be okay. If it's only stuff, then yeah, I will be okay. We're strong people.
America has now got involved.
Yeah, I know.
How does that shift your view of this war?
I thought from the beginning that this is a justified war. I still think that. I hope it will make the war a little bit shorter, but other than that, it was a threat to Israel, and it's a threat that should be eliminated. And I hope it would be they will do it fast, because the suffering is very, very hard.
It's interesting to hear someone say that. I mean, I don't care about her politics. It's dog shit. She's Israeli. It's most likely always going to be dog shit. But yeah, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? You just hear her say then of like, yeah, there's there's, what was she saying? There's a lot of suffering. I mean, there will be. Israelis aren't used to this kind of thing. Israelis aren't used to this kind of thing at all. So, yeah, it's hardly surprising that there's people who are saying, like, oh, we're suffering. They do this to other people and then complain when it happens to them. When it's like, the apartment's not totally destroyed either, but... I'm just checking what other things I wanted to go through. But yeah, it's mad that they just sort of are provoking war with Iran, you know. It's provoking war with Iran and then going, oh, we want peace, we want you to negotiate with us. It's just utterly ridiculous. It's just utterly ridiculous, isn't it? I've been checking Matthew Petty. Oh, some of you will probably be interested in this. Here's China's statement on all of this. In this, which... God. China strongly condemns the US attacks on Iran and bombings of nuclear facilities under the safeguards of the IAEA. Sorry, I'm struggling to say a very basic thing. Where did Murtaz post about a possible ceasefire? I'll check. Is it an actual video he posted, or is it a... No, I'm just scrolling through looking to see if I can find this. Okay, so this is it. This is all I can find. Murtaz posting this here. Don't know about that. I don't know about this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not actually sure that... I mean, he's just posted it. I don't know what the source is. Is there more information? There's no information. There's extra information. I haven't seen any of the accounts that I follow. I haven't seen any of the accounts that I follow, but yeah. Welcome new and old viewers alike. Yes, welcome everyone. Welcome anyone. The only prerequisite for being here is that you like that MF stream. No way they have been brutal today. Who's been brutal today? I'll try that. I'm still checking, unfortunately. Okay, right. The actions of US seriously violate the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and international law and have exacerbated tensions in the Middle East. China calls on parties to the conflict, Israel in particular, to reach a ceasefire as soon as possible, ensure the safety of civilians and start dialogue and negotiation. China stands ready to work with the international community to pool efforts and uphold together and uphold justice and work for restoring peace and stability in the Middle East. Yeah, it's I mean, look, it's interesting, and it's certainly better than Europe or Europe statements, because none of them condemned America. They were just like, "Yay, well done, this is awesome." But yeah. Also, sorry, this is just a mad thing. Mustache shaved. What did I miss? Yeah, I just shaved my mustache. I just decided to. But yeah. So China says this, but it's like, until you see material actions of like, hey, we're going to do something against the state of Israel. Yeah. Until you're going to do something against the state of Israel, against America, it's hard to really see. Because the truth is that, Because the truth is that America and China's economy is so linked that taking really strict actions against America is harmful to China in of itself. This is just a very quick point, but I don't know if any of you saw this. This guy, whilst there was like all of this stuff going on that even I spoke about yesterday, thank you so much, Nola Magnolia, for helping us achieve the goals. Thank you so much for the donation. Incredibly kind and incredibly appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much for helping us hit that goal, for smashing that goal. So yeah, thank you all. Thank you for everyone who's donated thus far. They're always appreciated. I got 10 out of 10. Indeed. I look like a kid again. Yeah, I do look very young, but you hated it, didn't you? So I feel like your opinion will be disregarded. China. But yeah, this guy was just like, you should grow a beard, call yourself Chris Bin Laden. Yeah, I'm not going to start calling myself Bin Laden. I feel like that might be quite bad for the brand image. Probably not very good for trying to grow my channel either. People would be, unless I'm trying to really, unless I'm sort of trying to appeal specifically to largely extremists. So maybe that's an idea. You said you're coming this week. Will you be doing a meetup? No, I won't be in Ireland that long. I just won't be there for that long. But I maybe one day. But I have never done a meetup before. I mean, maybe one day. I don't know. I'd also be... people have met me at the Pro-Palestine. Keep up the great work. Hope the new PC makes streaming easier for you. Thank you so much for your donation. It's greatly appreciated. And hopefully there will be a new PC very soon. In fact, I should just get around to building it. I've had this one for about 6-7 years. I could just get rid of it. I can't grow a beard. I can grow a beard on my neck, but that's it. The rest of it's too patchy. It's only a moustache that I can grow really well, really quickly, and it grows very thickly. But yeah, so this random guy was like... who tweeted this at 6 a.m. I counted 9 B-2s flying over my house. Warsaw, Missouri, heading due east. So apparently, so people did actually find this thing. But yeah, like, this guy just kind of saw what was going on and somehow posted it. Like, whilst everyone else was talking about these B-2 bombers. But yeah, I don't know. Also, I will actually read this. I will read this whole article because it looks interesting. But this is a very good way of framing it. In the long run, it is untenable for a country of 10 million people to dominate a region with a population of several hundred million. I mean, this is kind of the thing. Like, what Zionists want is the domination of the whole Middle East. But they are tiny. And, like, when people are like... I love it when Elon Levy does it, because Elon Levy is like, we are the small Israelis who just want to dance and go to the gay club in Tel Aviv, and everyone wants to stop us doing that. That's what they want to stop. And it's just like, oh God, you know, you are trying to dominate everywhere. You are trying to establish complete and utter dominance over everyone in the Middle East. And you expect us all to just have sympathy and act as if, like, you know, it's all moral, it's all justified, that it's all acceptable. The only thing I would say in response to this is, could you really say that it's a country of 10 million when the actual thing is that you are basically backed up by the world's biggest superpower, who's allowing you to do these things, who is allowing you to do whatever you want, to continue murdering people. Yeah. It's just utterly ridiculous, you know. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Rowan Al-Wamiri. I do want them to stop dancing to Israeli techno, to be honest. I mean, I would like that as well. Shit trail is small bean. Yeah, I mean, just claiming that they're these weak little victims, and it's just not true, is it? Like, the Zionist project has just brought misery to the Middle East and suffering. And when someone's like, Israel is responsible for all of the chaos and these things, it's just like, is it? Is it really? Is that really what is going on? Or is Israel causing major problems in the Middle East? As it always has been, you know? Goodness me. Right. I know short-term prices went up, so they're making more. What do you mean? What could hurt Russia? What does China think about this? I mean, China is allied with Iran. It's a place where they can sell some of their military equipment, right? In my understanding, it can get cheaply manufactured drones. In the case of Russia, they are closer allies with them. And also, you know, if you're sanctioned by the West, you're looking for trading partners and all of these things. So yeah, you can do these things. But I think that ultimately it's... I don't know, I think that they won't be that willing to lift a finger. Of course, for Russia, it's slightly less important because their economy is less linked than the Chinese economy to the Western economy because they're so heavily sanctioned in Russia. But yeah, well, even then, actually, I guess you can... I guess, yeah. Our GCC countries are to blame too. I think you were going to ask, are GCC countries. I do think that they are to blame. I think that GCC countries are 100% to blame. Like, GCC countries, most of them are heavily allied with the West, and they have no problem with them doing this kind of thing, you know? I'm sure that they'd want a more stable situation, but ultimately they're like, we don't like Iran either, because Iran is not so interested in bowing down to America and worshipping it and making deals with the state of Israel as a result of it, and being a dictatorship that controls its population to prevent support of Palestine and stuff, because that's what Saudi Arabia and the UAE does. Saudi Arabia was telling fucking foreign students in like the UK and stuff and other places, don't protest, don't go to Palestine related stuff, because they don't want people protesting about Palestine in case it snowballs into protests against the actual regimes there, because the regimes support like what Israel is doing. Like, they haven't lifted a finger to stop it, you know. But what did you ask? Chris, why is Israel of any use to America when they have so many military bases in the region? It's the unsinkable one, the one that has defenses that is consistently framed as like this totally legitimate thing. Even if every American military base is cleared out, they will always have this thing that is seen as like morally justified and acceptable, because it is like, you know, this normal state which should and has a right to exist. But yeah, it's like, you know, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous that, you know, we just have to support it. I don't know anything about the shutting of the Straits of Hormuz. There's been discussion about it, but no actual practical action. It remains to be seen. Isn't Iran just cooked at this point? They won't retaliate against this insane provocation if they won't. Yeah, I mean, it depends what you mean by retaliate. Is the retaliation to leave the NPT, the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, is that like a non-proliferation treaty, is it called? Yeah. But is that the escalation for them to like basically move away from that? Is that like a way to move forward? I don't know. It could be something that you can do, but it might not be. That might not be something that they want to do. They might be attacking American military bases, which would also lead to other significant escalations from the US. So it kind of remains to be seen, you know. So here's Bloomberg talking about this. What if Iran tries to close the Straits of Hormuz? The US bombed Iran's 3 main nuclear sites. The US has moved to stoke speculation that Iran's leadership may reach for another way to pressure its enemies to relent, blocking or effectively closing the Strait of Hormuz to shipping. This narrow waterway at the mouth of the Persian Gulf handles about a quarter of the world's seaborne trade. So if Iran were able to deny access to the giant tankers that ferry oil and gas to China, Europe and other major energy-consuming regions, it would send oil prices shooting higher and potentially destabilize the global economy. Iran has targeted merchant ships traversing the choke point in the past and has threatened to block the strait over recent years. Before the US strikes oil shipping from the region, and Hormuz had been relatively unscathed by the conflict, shipments from Iran itself had surged, and oil tanker activity through the Strait of Hormuz remained largely steady. However, Greece's shipping ministry on Sunday advised the nation's vessel owners to review the use of the strait. Computer fan go brr. Yeah, computer fan does go brr. This is why we have donation goals to just new PC fund. You know, this is what we need. Yeah, I need a new mega PC. I need a new supercomputer so I can start enriching uranium in my own house. The waterway connects the Persian Gulf to the Indian Ocean, with Iran to its blah 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 blah. With Iran to its north and the UAE and Oman to its south. It's almost 100 miles long and 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, and its shipping lanes in each direction just 2 miles wide. Its shallow depth makes its ships potentially vulnerable to mines and proximity to land. Iran in particular its shallow depth makes ships potentially vulnerable to mines, and the proximity to land, Iran in particular, leaves vessels open to attack from shore-based things. Could Iran really block it? Iran would have no legal authority to order a halt to traffic through Hormuz, so would need to achieve this by force or threat of force. If its navy tried to bar entry to the strait, it would likely be met with a strong response from the US Fifth Fleet and other Western navies patrolling the area, but it could cause severe disruption without a single Iranian warship leaving port. One option would be to harry shipping with small, fast patrol boats, or it could launch drones and fire missiles towards ships from coastal or inland sites. That could make it too risky for commercial trips to travel through. Similar tactics have been employed successfully by the Houthi militia in Yemen to disrupt traffic through the Bab el-Mandab Strait, leading into the Red Sea on the other side of the Arabian Peninsula. The Houthis have mostly fired missiles and drones at ships after warning owners of vessels linked to US, UK and Israel that they will be attacked if they approach the area. Yeah, I mean, the other problem is that, like, the Houthis have no navy. The Houthis have, like, basically no navy at all. So one of the things is, like, okay, if America's like, hey, you're blocking it, they might just bomb Iranian ships. But then I guess Iran might escalate. So I'm not really sure where that could go again. Like, it's quite like a, yeah, who knows? Who knows? Because America is just like, Israel is just more than willing to, like, keep escalating, clearly. Like, Israel and America. And they have helicopters, yes. Why wouldn't China take a more aggressive stance against the US on these attacks if they're one of the largest anti-Western Eastern aligned countries? Because the economies are so linked. That's the thing. Like, whilst we're told over and over again, oh, you know, these two countries are so different, I'm pretty sure... Oh, shit. Shit, I've just spilt water all over myself. Oh, fuck's sake. 1 second. Oh, Jesus fucking... I think you heard me that whole time. I don't think I meant to unmute myself. Can you still hear me? Is it all okay? Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. Oh, Jesus. Concurrent viewers, 705. Lovely. That's nice. Over yourself is fine. Over the computer would be worse. Yeah, it would probably be worse. Every day I improve at streaming. I spill stuff on myself and I'm still a fucking moron. But I'm back. I hate when I do that. I feel that. Yeah, I haven't done it in ages. I've never done it while streaming as well. This is literally the first time, and I've streamed for longer than some of you know. Like, there's a very small amount of people who are on here who will have watched me on Twitch. But yeah, don't think I did it then. But maybe one of them will be like, "You're a liar, Chris." But yeah. Now I earned the like. Thank you. Was it hot? No. Fizzy drink? No. It's just water. It's just water, anti-Semitic water. Yeah, it was a Mossad put in water. Similar tactics. So right, where were we? A US-led force in the Red Sea is seeking to protect shipping there, but the number of ships sailing through the Gulf of Aden was still down about 70% in June, compared with the average level of 2022 and 2023, according to Clarkson Research Services Limited. That is actually mad, you know, that they are actually keeping this amount. They are keeping this amount. They are still keeping shipping down. You know, they are still keeping shipping down. Unbelievable. That they are still keeping the shipping down, even without really doing much, or whilst reducing the amount of attacks. You know, kind of mad. How are you, mate? I'm okay. I just spilled water over myself, so I'm just recovering from that. I've now got wet legs as well, which is pretty depressing. I can just sort of feel a semi-wet leg, but my piece... Oh, no! Shit. Hold on. Uber. And then... Okay, right. Oh, it's all going wrong. It's all going wrong right now. I've never had an experience like this of just everything going so wrong so quickly. Too fast, too soon. That's how it happened. A US force in the Red Sea is seeking to protect shipping there. This has forced vessel operators to reroute their traffic around the southern tip of Africa instead of going through the Suez Canal, a lengthier and more expensive journey for ships travelling around between East and Asia. So still they're causing problems. Yeah, most people in chat are wet-legged after a Christian. Very funny, Hyper J. Yeah, I'm just having a difficult day. I didn't spill water again. I knocked my headset off and I was worried it was going to cause the dolphin issue. Bro gonna have to step on a Lego soon. Yeah. Bad day it happens. It's a good day still, you know. It's still a good day. I can't complain. In 2024, hours before launching a drone and missile attack, closing the Strait of Hormuz would quickly hit Iran's own economy as it would prevent it from exporting its petroleum, and it would antagonize China, the biggest buyer of Iranian oil and a critical partner that's used its veto at the UN Security Council to shield Iran from Western-led sanctions or resolutions. I mean, has that really done that well? You know. But yeah, I don't know. Remains to be seen whether they will actually end up doing this. I don't actually know. But I think it's something that they could do. But there's a lot of consequences, you know. If you are to actually do it. But yeah. Julian Lee, maybe it's wishful thinking, but there's also a practical thing to this. Not so far. Iran-Iraqi forces attacked an oil export terminal at Kharg Island, northwest of the Strait, in part to provoke an Iranian retaliation that would draw the US into the conflict. Afterward, in what was called the Tanker War, the two sides attacked 451 vessels between them that significantly raised the cost of insuring tankers and helped push up oil prices. When sanctions were imposed in Iran, it threatened to close the straits, but ultimately backed off. It's just that it has like a lot of like consequences for the it's just that it could have a lot of consequences for Iran themselves, basically, is what this article is saying. Like, you know, that could be the thing. Also, do you want to hear absolute bullshit? Here's Keir Starmer's fucking statement, the English Prime Minister, a little weasel man.
Had concerns about the Iranian nuclear program and been very clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The US has now taken action to alleviate that threat. It is.
Also, why is this such dog shit audio for like a government official thing? It's got a fucking hiss.
It's important that we now de-escalate the situation, stabilise the region, and get the parties back around the table to negotiate. And I've been speaking with international...
How is this congruent as well? You had them at the negotiating table and then you carried out a surprise attack? Like, how is that meant to be some description of like, yeah, you know, we really want peace and stability?
Leaders, this morning to that end. So I want to reassure the British public that we're doing everything we can to stabilise the situation, to de-escalate the situation, and to get to a negotiated outcome. But I'm very clear in my own mind that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. That is the greatest threat to stability in the region. We've long had concerns about the Iranian...
Oh, God! You know, this guy is such a fucking wet flannel. He's such a boring wet flannel. He's so uninteresting. And all he sits there and says is like, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's just like, okay, bro, like, you know, I don't think Israel should have one either, and I don't think that you should just be deeply supportive of genocide, but here we are. You know, like, maybe you should work towards that. Maybe you should work towards not licking America's ass and doing everything it asks of you. But, you know, you aren't interested in doing that. You're much more interested in just continually supporting America down every attack that it does.
You raise what's happening in Gaza.
So they had Isaac Herzog on this morning, and let's see what they were asking him.
There, and what's been happening to Palestinians. How can there be peace when Israel is bombarding that land in such a way? And we've spoken about Gaza.
I hate this guy's voice.
A few times, President.
The argument as to why Iran can't have a nuclear weapon is basically, if Iran has a nuclear weapon, they might use it against Israel, and it would basically make attacking them much more dangerous. That's why they don't want them to have it, if you really want the answer. That's like basically what it boils down to.
Herzog here on the programme. I just wonder, how can you justify on more than 10 occasions Israeli troops opening fire near food queues, where charities and NGOs on the ground say that children and people have been killed while queuing for food? How can Israel justify that?
So, first of all, in some of these reports were false. Others are under inquiry and in deep investigation.
There are more than...
Israel does not investigate. Do you know what NAF means? Not good is what NAF means.
10 occasions where this has happened.
Wait a minute. No, but we reject some of those claims. But I would say that in some of these instances, it is clear that it was Hamas operatives who wanted to stop the distribution of food, not through Hamas. The way Hamas operates is like the mafia, meaning they want to control the food in order to mobilize these people to terror. We've enabled a huge amount of trucks to go in, and the United Nations of the famous...
Oh, Jesus Christ, just lie after lie after lie after lie.
The Secretary General refused so far to distribute this food. Hundreds of trucks are waiting to be distributed all over Gaza. And in addition, we opened a new venue and a new system of distribution.
A new system of distribution that is not working. People are fucking starving. And he's just not... Like, this is a guy who said there were no innocents in Gaza. Like, that's the other day when I was live on TikTok yesterday, you get so many people who just sit there and go over and over again, oh God, you know, there's no intent to do genocide. Here's the intent, this guy.
That would take the food control out of Hamas through distribution centers. By the way, 30 million meals were distributed in the last few days in a very successful way.
President Herzog, thank you very much indeed for joining us this.
I don't know how you're saying thank you for joining us. Right. I think I've kind of talked about everything for now. Do people want to watch the Dave Smith, Piers Morgan, Konstantin Kisin thing? It's a long-ass debate, but... Okay, right, I'll change the title then. Okay, right, we'll do some of this, we'll see how it goes. This is a very popular Piers Morgan episode.
It's always a one-way street. Iran said this.
Tension versus isolation. Populist. Which I found quite an amusing thing to watch go down. What did you make of it?
Oh, I thought it was just so pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I had mentioned this before, but if you, as I'm sure you do recall, but after my friend Daryl Cooper was on Tucker Carlson's show and he made some comments that you objected to, and I was defending him and giving my point of view on it, you had me on a panel. It's probably the most contentious that me and you have been on the show. You had me on 3-on-1 with it was Seth Dillon and then a world-renowned historian from the House of Lords, you know, like the leading expert.
He actually is, Andrew Roberts, yeah.
Yeah, and I you know, I took my lumps. I tried to make my argument as compelling as I could. It was, I didn't go online and just throw a bitch fest for the next week over how unfair it was. It's just pathetic. And I'm sorry, but Natasha was just lying through her teeth the whole time. And and lies that, as you pointed out, insult the intelligence of the host and the viewers. And I thought you were absolutely right to give her pushback for that. So it was, I thought, number one, I thought you were right on the show. Obviously, admittedly, I'm a little...
Yeah, the moustache has been saved. I mean, Dave Smith is just not that great a guy. Like, Dave Smith doesn't believe in abortion. Like, he's not a good moral, like, awesome guy.
bit biased on the topic, but I thought the reaction online was just truly embarrassing.
You know what was interesting? If they'd actually just said to me, you know what, Piers, did you go a little bit too far in the interrupting? Could you have reined back 10, 20%? I probably would have said yes, probably. I conceded that as a friend of mine. Yeah.
Why? What? Like, oh, Jesus
Probably
Christ.
slightly overdid. My mother's always a good litmus test. She was like, you did go at her a bit, I was like, okay. But then I was reminded that A, she was telling massive whoppers with real consequential elements to them, denying, appalling things like the killing of the 9 out of 10 children in that one airstrike and so on, or at least trying to cast doubt over whether it had been proven, which I just found so reprehensible.
This guy's got a stupid haircut, Konstantin Kishin.
But also, I just felt this is somebody who purports to be an international barrister in this area, who's clearly not, has got a horse.
Is this them just whining about Natasha Hausdorff?
Konstantin, you called out Dave on X for accusing the actor Rob Schneider of talking. Has got a horse in the race, right? Because it's Lawyers for Israel, who she represents. If you can't handle a bit of interrupting from someone like me, you're probably in the wrong profession. Is what I thought. It's like it's supposed to be part of your job, literally arguing with people, often in an animated way. Anyway, let's get into this argument because this was precipitated. For those who don't follow you guys as assiduously as I do, and I'm a big fan of both of you. Konstantin, you called out Dave on X for accusing the actor Rob Schneider of talking with confidence on topics he doesn't necessarily understand. You said that's exactly what Douglas Murray had accused Dave of doing when they had a spat on
Konstantin Kissin is absolutely insanely stupid. When Alika Lebon told him about 12 Shiism, he said, wow, I've never heard of that.
Rogan, and you said, on X, I'm not trying to be a dick, but this is exactly what Douglas was saying to you. He was saying you talk about things you don't understand with a level of confidence that is inappropriate, and you pretended he was calling for censorship. You can't have it both ways. Okay, you've got Dave sitting here. You don't want to be a dick, which I appreciate, because I've had a festival of that from George Galloway this week. But let's not get into dick measurement contests. But this whole argument, really, about people who are supposedly ill-equipped to talk about things. Whether it's Dave, because he's a comedian by stock in trade, whether it's Rob Schneider, whether it's anyone, really. Explain where you come from on that.
Well, first of all, you say it's been precipitated by this. I think the disagreements between Dave and I run about as long as the Iran-Israel conflict, and probably longer. So we disagree on a lot of stuff. You've invited me on your show many, many times over the last year. I've always...
This guy, I really don't like this guy.
Said no when talking about this stuff, because I don't consider myself an expert on these issues, which is why I've consistently turned it down. The only reason I'm here tonight, by the way, is you said to me, I'm not going on your show until you come back on mine, and I thought that was actually fair enough. So particularly given that you have me here with somebody who's also not an expert, this is essentially two guys in a bar, in a pub, chatting about their opinions. So that's fine. However, I think the reality is that an issue of this complexity and seriousness should not be addressed by a former comedian and a current comedian. I don't really think that's the right approach. But my point to Dave is something else. My point to Dave is whenever he wants to take a shortcut and disagree with someone who's saying something that's different to him.
Do they actually talk about Palestine, or is this just all they talk about? Hold on, I'm just going to skip forward a bit.
Arguments on X. We're also in front of millions of people. We're also having a debate. I don't understand what achieving that outcome while not taking any of the blame or any of the flag for it. That was the case on Friday. Obviously, the situation has evolved since then, and there's now a much bigger debate. But
an absolute blinder.
Just to put this in context, I said this, I think, on Friday.
You will feel the difference on the very first night. That's Cozy Earth. Konstantin, let me start with what you said. Donald Trump, you believe, has played an absolute blinder in the Middle East. Dave, to put it mildly, does not agree and thinks he should now be impeached for betrayal. So first of all, Konstantin,
it's quite hard to react when they're just not really talking about anything of substance.
Why, in your estimation, has Trump played an absolute blinder?
Just to put this in context, I said this, I think, on Friday. I spent that week when these initial strikes happened in Washington, D.C., and the point that I was making is, I don't think that...
Why is Konstantin Kissin or Kishin, or whatever the fuck his name is, why is he in Washington? He's the host of a stupid podcast called Trigonometry. Like, what? It's like, it's just, oh God, he's just the host of a really stupid podcast, and that's it. Like, that's his achievement.
Certainly none of the people I met in Washington, D.C. with any insider knowledge thought that Benjamin Netanyahu had ordered these strikes without at least a wink and a nod from President Trump. So President Trump is doing something that, from what I remember, he said it between 30 and 40 times on the campaign trail, which is Iran must not be allowed to get a bomb. And he's achieving that outcome while not taking any of the blame or any of the flag for it. That was the case on Friday. Obviously, the situation has evolved since then, and there's now a much bigger debate. But at that time, he had absolutely played the blinder in allowing Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli military to achieve the military objective, while also sort of claiming that he's not involved and kind of at that time...
If he now gets involved.
I mean, also, you've literally just said that everyone said that it occurred with a wink and a nod. They were involved? No, he said that people with knowledge of what's going on.
As the Dungle Drums seem to be suggesting, that is a massive moment for Donald Trump, I would say. I mean, you could argue that is the most important decision he will have taken as a president, and maybe the most important decision he ever takes. If he actually starts bombing with American forces, Iran, that is a massive thing to be doing. Do you think it's, as Tucker Carlson says, something that could imperil his presidency?
We are in the unknown, so nobody knows how this is going to play out. I think we should all be honest about that and be fair. What I think it really fundamentally depends on is what you mean by the word involved. If you mean that America is going to help Israel shoot down ballistic missiles, I don't know that that will be such a major decision or will be seen as...
Well, let me paint a picture where they use a B-52 bomber and they drop one of these buster bombs to try and get to the nuclear sites that the Israelis can't get to because they haven't got that technology. If they were to do that...
I'm sorry, this is just really boring. I don't even know if I want to react to this. It is just insanely boring. In fact, I may just turn it off already. They're just not really talking about anything. It's just like, it's just so boring. Like, I don't have anything to say because it's just fucking boring. Jesus Christ. Who would have thought that this would have been so boring? In fact, I am not reacting to this. I'm done reacting to this. It's bad. Tucker Ted Cruz. I guess I could watch clips of that. Yeah, that's probably much more interesting. It's just so insanely boring. Like, it's just Konstantin kissing being boring. That's what's happening. Just like, oh, God. And he looks very funny as well. I'd love to talk to this guy. He's an idiot. So, right, that's enough of that. I'm sorry. I can't watch that. I can't watch that.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah, how could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. What?
Can you show us your socks? Why do you want to see my socks? I'm not going to show you my socks.
Why is it relevant whether it's, it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about the country. Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran? They are Persians and predominantly Shia.
I mean, that is quite a difficult question. Like, what percentage is what of who's living in Iran? There are many, many different ethnic groups that I don't think even he could name.
Okay, it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So, okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims... You don't know anything about the country.
Tucker Carlson's getting very, very excited about this. Like, look at him getting out of his chair in excitement.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad. You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump? Yes, I do. Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that... We're carrying out military strikes today. You said Israel was. Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them. Well, you're breaking news here because...
Ian Bridge. Smith is a right-wing a-hole. No idea why some leftists like him. Also, my friend Daryl Cooper. Dave Smith. That's sus as fuck. Love your work, Chris. And your American accent makes me laugh. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much for an incredibly kind donation. But yeah, I can't watch him. I find him really annoying. I watched so much about him for the video about Douglas Murray. I don't even know how that video did at this point. It did okay. But I watched so much about him for the Douglas. I watched so much of the podcast, but it was just ridiculous.
It's the U.S. government...
I want to see if your socks are clean. Just show them. I'm okay for showing my
Last night denied the...
You don't have to delete that message. I mean, it's a bit of an odd request, but I'm not going to show my thing. They are Persians and predominantly Shia. I mean, yeah, I guess that would be what he's asking
National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity. No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them. You just said we were. We are supporting Israel. High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government...
Tucker Carlson's having such a good time, but he's actually quite a strange-looking man, I do have to admit.
We're with Iran right now. People are listening. Okay.
I also...
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse...
I haven't had a chance to work on the UAE video. I've been incredibly busy the last few days. I haven't been doing it really, but I will be doing it at some point soon.
Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my...
But also, yeah, just blessing the state of Israel, blessing the state of Israel for what it is doing now is utterly ridiculous. Do you honestly think that any of Jesus' teachings align with you must worship an apartheid state that like massacres human beings and treats them heinously? It's utterly ridiculous. Hog on hog violence. Indeed, the girls are fighting.
Pull out the phone and use the
It's in Genesis, but...
Like, honestly, my socks are black. You wouldn't even be able to tell if they're clean or not. Like, they're literally just black socks. I really don't know why you want to see them.
So you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused.
I think some were saying yesterday that streams showing this were getting copyright struck. Oh, okay, yeah, that's enough of that then. We are not going to show any more of that. Thank you, Vicky Clee, for letting me know that. Yeah, sorry, I can't show you any more of that. If people are getting copyright struck, I'd rather not deal with it. I am not watching any more of this, though. This is just hell on earth watching this. Maybe the Piers Morgan one with George Galloway would be more exciting, but I don't know how much I even fancy watching that. I don't know what I'm going to do then, because I kind of have exhausted a lot of the things I wanted to talk about. But yeah, like I you know what? I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like Tucker Carlson. I'm not a fan of Tucker Carlson, but like just standing up against this person is very easy. You know, standing up against Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a horrible character. I mean, most American politicians are fucking horrible individuals. Like, and just worshipping the state of Israel is just utterly ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. Alright guys, I think I'll probably call it there because I'm getting quite tired. I've enjoyed this little return to streaming over the last few days. So as I said, I'm going to be busy until Friday. Oh, actually, wait, yeah, wait. I'll do the Rubio thing. I'll look at some of this Rubio stuff. I had some of it pulled up.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
We'll watch the end of this. Sorry. You were right. Sorry, I've just told you all I'm going, but I do want to watch this.
That's irrelevant. I think that question being asked on the media, that's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they
key
need to build
point
a weapon.
in U.S. intelligence assessment. You know that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
the political decision had not been made.
I know that better than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was weaponization ambitions. Are you saying...
Why is this video only available in 360p? It's quite annoying. Hold on. Oh, no, wait. I've got 720p
that the
version.
United States did not see intelligence that the...
Can we just get a glimpse of your socks? Why do you want a glimpse of my socks?
Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization.
That's irrelevant.
Wait, which? Oh, you work on Face the Nation, mad.
Irrelevant. I think that question being asked on the media, that's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build a
point
weapon.
in U.S. intelligence assessment. You know that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
the political decision had not
I know
been
that better
made.
than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury...
I wonder why you might bury them. Why would it be a good idea to hide your nuclear things from states who constantly go around bombing and destroying anything of countries who stand against them?
Why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60%.
Because weirdo perverts like you are in charge of America?
Are countries that have nuclear weapons. Because they can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. They have. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No.
Yes, Iran should go to the moon, I think.
They're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but
so
that's a
question.
That's a question of intent, and you know in the intelligence assessment that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold state and use this leverage. I'm talking about the public March assessment, and that's why I was asking you if you know.
You can literally just publicly read this, by the way. Like, you can publicly read this intelligence assessment, and like it says exactly what he's saying, but you know,
something more from March.
Was Marco Rubio at the phone parties? I don't know. Was Marco Rubio at the gay phone parties? I don't know. I hear people saying it, but I'm not sure. I hear it. Marco Rubio told me he is a no on a House same-sex marriage bill, calling it a stupid waste of time. Rubio, a South Beach phone party attendee in the 1990s, was arrested in Miami's Alice Wainwright Park, a haven for drug dealers, prostitutes, and gang members, while drinking with other teen boys at the same time. Who knows? Who knows? People have said it. I can't confirm it. I'm not confirming it. I'm just hearing it. I hear it. I hear it. Apparently, a State Department official spread false rumors about Marco Rubio being sexuality, called him low IQ, according to CNN. Who knows? Who knows?
It's also an inaccurate representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Forget about intelligence. What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program. So why would you enrich uranium at 60%? Right. If you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon? Right. Why are you developing ICBMs? Why do you have 8,000 short...
Why might you be doing that when Israel exists? People are always like, Israel has a right to do these things to Iran because Iran wants to wipe it off the map. What do they do? What do they do?
Short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop. Why do you do all these things? They have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the delivery mechanisms, they have the enrichment capability, they have the highly enriched uranium that is stored. Yes. That's all we need to see.
Right. Well, and
especially in the hands of a regime that's already...
So I want to watch. We'll watch a bit more of this. So there's a claim that that's Marco Rubio at the phone party. Don't know if that is him. Maybe he was at the phone party. Who knows? We cannot confirm. I'm not a journalist. I'm a comic who is just asking questions. I am a commentator who is just asking a question about Marco Rubio and what he thinks about the phone party.
Where are we at war? You know, I'm trying to suss out some of the facts here. So why would Iran agree to any peace deal if the United States has already pulled out of one that they had, as President Trump did in 2018, and now has launched 2 surprise attacks? Both Israel and the United States have done so. There is such a massive trust deficit there.
I think the hypocrisy of nuclear weapons is just utterly ridiculous. It is literally just how the world works, sadly, where Western nations can say and do whatever they want and basically have whatever weapons they want, cause as much horror in the world as they want, and they can just get away with it because they're Westerners. Like, kind of really, really as simple as that. Like, if you want to put it like that, you know, that's really all it boils down to.
How could you possibly come to...
Yeah, but the trust deficit started with Iran.
I know.
Well, the trust deficit, the ones that shouldn't be trusted are the Iranians because they're the ones...
Yeah, like, listen to that. The Iranians are the ones who shouldn't be trusted.
...that sponsor terrorism. Did they forewarn us before they blew up the embassy in Lebanon and killed over 200 American servicemen?
In the 1980s, how many servicemen in the Middle East have these fuckers killed since that day?
They forewarned us before they built IEDs and blew the legs and arms off of America.
They've also been getting really obsessed with the IEDs. Trump was talking about this. I mean, like, hey, yeah, IEDs are pretty brutal. Like, they do pretty big damage. But, I mean, like, what does Israel and America do?
Servicemen in Iraq. I mean, these are the people that are doing this forever. They're the ones that no one should trust. They're the ones that have lied about their nuclear program.
But
they're the ones that have hidden things from the international organisms.
But that sounds like we're headed towards regime change, or the desire to get these people out of power.
No.
Are you...
No, a serious foreign policy is one that's focused on identifying what our national interest is. You don't have to like the regime. There are a lot of regimes around the world that we don't like, okay? But in this particular case, what we are focused on is not the...
I love how it just comes down to that. All of this stuff about democracy and freedom, all of this stuff is ridiculous. And yeah, it was about, in part, America's role in the Middle East and the time that they were there. Their unwavering support for their unwavering support for the state of Israel and participating in Israel's crimes, you know?
The changing of the regime. Okay, that's up to the Iranian people if they want to do that, but that's not...
And also, when did that bombing happen? After Sabra and Shatila, right? Like, I'm pretty sure. When was the barracks bombing? Yeah, it was after Sabra and Shatila. I was double checking it, but yeah.
Not what we're focused on. Our national interest is about one thing, and that is Iran not getting where any...
But what if the bombs are DEI? Yeah, woke bombing. Woke bombing. If you change around a few letters...
Anywhere near the capability...
Little Marco, so stupid little Marco.
To weaponize and have nuclear weapons. They're not going to get anywhere near that capability. The president has made that clear from day one. Our preference for solving that problem, that very specific problem, is through diplomacy. We've said that. We've given it every opportunity. They played games. They tried delay tactics. They're trying delay tactics now on the Europeans because of the snapback provisions.
When did
and you
the
talk about the
president
JCPOA, that was a crazy deal.
When did the president make this decision? Because he said he was giving 2 more weeks of diplomacy on Friday, and on Friday...
This host is pretty funny. I mean, she's spitting facts there.
Well, the president...
Woke IEDs, LGBT bombs, woke IEDs indeed.
Retains the opportunity to pull out of this at any moment, including 10 minutes before. But the president ordered options.
Okay, talk about all your wars and invasions as well as Israel, e.g. Sabra and Shatila. Yeah, exactly. If you want to talk about like the suffering of American soldiers, talk about what they have done.
Look, the decision, in my view, was made when he wrote a letter to the Supreme Leader and he said, over the next 60 days, we want to do a deal with you and solve this problem of nuclear weaponization.
Where you have to do exactly what we want. Like, the deal is you capitulate and do exactly what we want.
Yeah. We want to do it peacefully. Okay. If after 60 days...
Also, by the way, another reason to say fuck that Konstantin Kisin guy. Look, read this. He's just getting the Israel War Room, like an official Israeli account, reposting what he says. It's just utterly ridiculous. And also, look how stupid this is. Now you're just trolling. So funny. It's not even funny. Israeli humor should be banned.
We don't see progress or it isn't solved, we have other alternatives. Right. He made that very clear. I think what some people are struggling with here is that we today have a president who does what he says he's going to do.
Out. Short time ago.
I mean, I just want to listen to this because I think he says the other thing.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and Esams blowing off their legs with rolling our people.
It's literally, they're all briefed on what to say.
They've been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs. With years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They've been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
You know what's funny as well is like all of those people who get their arms and legs blown off come back to America and then are just left to become homeless, disabled people. Sure, there are some people who, you know, go on to lead like decent-ish lives and have like normal experiences. But so many of those people who end up with disabilities are just left to rot by the state. And you're like, Iran does all these awful things, and why does that happen? So you can keep up this situation where people like you, warmongers on either side, just keep on getting elected.
That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi.
Yeah, he's also talking, by the way, about like groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS who are much more famous for using IEDs and stuff against Americans, or like would have killed a lot more. And ISIS, I guess there are Shia militias who've done it in Iraq as well. But ISIS and Al-Qaeda were like, you know, US-backed points, you know.
Netanyahu, we worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight and all of the United States military on an operation.
I mean, I'm already basically a Marxist. Like, I read predominantly like Marxist literature and thought.
The likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack,
With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps...
Well, I mean, Pete Hegseth was probably drunk and thought he bought a red tie, but his vision was so blurred he could only see red. So, you know, he's not quite met the goal either, Sophie.
The most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight. Not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place.
My father was in the Vietnam War. He came home with lung issues, but the government refused to pay him disabilities. I remember him pulling his O-tank through the aisles as he worked at Walmart. I mean, like, this is just what America is. Like, they treat these people like shit. They create this, like, we're hyper-masculine, and then a few people get their legs blown off and they cry about it in a bullshit war that is fought much more to maintain a status quo. Like, the Vietnam War wasn't about freedom, democracy, preventing communism. It was about maintaining American dominance in Asia.
Place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody and...
What's Hegseth's reaction to having to be awake tomorrow at that time?
Seth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon.
He looks like he sighs.
The world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon.
His jaw tightens. His jaw tightens.
And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular...
This is also a guy who regularly shits himself, by the way. Trump, I mean. Hegseth, maybe. We don't know that. We can't confirm that. But Trump is regularly shitting himself, I reckon. He's so old and just eats Mackies all the time. Imagine the havoc that plays with that... your stomach, like drinking fucking Diet Coke. This man is shitting himself all the time. Alright guys, I am going to end the stream there. The link to my Discord is at the top, so please come say hi, and whilst I'm away you can talk about me and my lack of moustache and saying how like great I am. But yeah, thank you all for your support. Thank you for all supporting the new PC fund. I hope you all have a wonderful couple of days and you don't all miss me too much. I'll be back next Friday for, I'm sure, a wonderful stream and things like that. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm holding it so it doesn't cut off.